welcome to our webinar. And then this is a webinars for the APF year 2025. And then the topic of this webinar is maternity protection and care economy in ASEAN, policies and implementation gaps, realities, and social movement strategies. And this is Mabel. And then I'm your MC in this webinar. First of all, the program of today is very rich, and then we will have two panels, and then So the first panels will be focused on the policies, realities in ASEAN that we have a few countries experience to update and share with you together. And then the second panels will be very down to earth voices from the ground, and then we'll tell you like the situations on the ground, and also like some of the actual experience that we have. So, and then we will also have our, there is a regional statement, and then we will, through these opportunities that we will also invite you guys to the participants to give us suggestions. So that will be a very rich program. And we have many speakers today, very many really. So, but then first of all, that I would also like to ask all the speakers that because the webinar we will do a recording, and then after all that we will also like to share these webinars with by our social media from all of our organizers. So if you hesitate, or if you want to do not want to share your part, you can tell us, inform us, like Tohas or other organizers separately, and then we will edit out your part, and then we will share the rest of the webinar. So just remind all you guys about this. And then since we also have different language participants in this webinar, so please, the speakers, if you can speak slowly, and then allow our interpreters to translate your presentations to the participant is really much appreciated. So so today's we have two panels, but then before the two panels, we do have our opening remarks from Sutani. So I would like to introduce Ms. Sutani, and then Sangel. So sorry that I can't pronounce properly with the surname. And then Sutani, we are very, we always work together, and then we are very close working partners. And then she is the Executive Director of HomeNet Southeast Asia, and also the committee member of HomeNet Thailand Association and Foundation, and also the executive committee member of HomeNet International. In Thailand, she represents HomeNet in the National Health Security Office, the Universal Health Coverage Scheme, and in the National Home Workers Protection Committee. Sutani's expertise includes informal workers organizing advocacies on social protection and related laws and policies for informal workers with gender perspective. At ASEAN level, she supports the organizing, capacity building, and advocacy work of the informal workers organizations in 6 country members of HomeNet Southeast Asia, including Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Philippines, Thailand, and Vietnam. So without any further ado, Sutani, please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mabel.
I see Chindami raise the hand. Maybe let
Yes.
Chindami say something first.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting. And I think the Thai interpretation is the sounds in the channel is quite low. We could hear English, not Thai.
Okay.
So it could we fix that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
เดี๋ยวล่ามไทยเข้ามาแล้วนะคะกำลังรอให้เซตเป็นล่ามอยู่สักครู่นะคะพอดีเปลี่ยน
เมื่อกี้ไป
แล้วค่ะ
Thank you.
Hi Chandra, can you please set up the Thai interpreter again?
Yeah,
Just
that-
add like this.
To whom? To whom?
Piambun.
Piambun. Already to Piambun. So Piambun must speak louder.
No. Because she just out and she just in, so you
Oh,
have to
see.
say.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, please proceed. I will set it on the way.
Okay.
May I?
Yes, please.
Thank you so much
ประสมสมอคุณ
for the technical support and also for the translation. Dear brother, sister, colleague, and all guests of honor, welcome you all to the ALOS webinar. ALOS is a regional network of 57 members and associates from 14 countries, focused on learning and mutual support on the thematic issue of social protection, including consolidating the struggle for both formal, informal workers and the poor across various sectors in Asia. Maternity protection and recognition of the care economy are essential pillars of a fair and inclusive social protection system across ASEAN countries. They have made varying progress in formulating maternity leave policies and labor protection for women. However, there are persistent implementation gaps, particularly for women in informal employment and migrant workers. Also, those in vulnerable sectors. The care economy, which includes unpaid and paid care workers, such as children, elder care, and household labor, largely carried out by women, remains undervalued and excluded from formal economy system. The webinar, Maternity Protection and the Care Economy in ASEAN Policies, Implementation Gap Reality and Social Movement Struggle Today, is organized as a part of ACSC APF 2025 alongside ASEAN Summit, which will happen at the last week of October in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Our webinar today aims to assess the current policy landscape and implementation of maternity protection and care economy at ASEAN level and across countries. Second is to highlight grassroots reality and solidarity action by civil society to support working people, especially those in the informal economy. Third, to promote public awareness and strengthen advocacy strategy among ASEAN social movement and CSO to improve social protection for working people, especially those in the informal economy. Like Mabel informed you before, today's webinar will consist of 4 sessions. First is keynote speaker on the urgency of maternity protection and care work recognition in ASEAN. Second will be the panel discussion on policy reality in ASEAN. Third will be the panel discussion on voice from the ground. And the fourth, the last but not least, is the session on regional statement and collective commitment. On behalf of ALOS, I would like to thank all speaker, moderator, and participants for your time today. Your valuable contribution will strengthen the maternity protection and the care economy in ASEAN. Thank you again.
Thank you, Sutani. And we will, since now we've already have like 87 participants that I saw, we would like to have a group photo. So I will hand over the time to Chanja to instruct us if how to do this Mission Impossible.
Okay, let's open your camera, turn on your camera, everyone. We will have a group photo, a short group photo. So when everyone is, as soon as everyone ready, then we can proceed to our main agenda. So I invite everyone to turn on the camera, please. Okay, I will start the taking photo. We have like 87, so there will be only two shots. Okay.
Tin
Okay.
Song, not yet.
Okay, one. Okay, one. Oh no, not
Not
yet.
yet, not yet.
Yeah, not
The
yet.
someone on who else?
Okay, Hon Sea, and then
Many see not yet turn on.
okay, but I have one screen ready already. I'll take the first photo. Okay, and then let's wait for another one. Okay, we're still waiting for you, everyone else. Okay, now I think we can take the second one. Okay, I think we have them all, although not all turning on the camera. Okay, back to you, Mabel.
Thank you. Well, we saw like 87 participants, but in fact, that is more than that because there's some groups. So I saw like KPRI and then also like HomeNets, they have different groups, and then there must be more than 100 there. So thank you very much, and everybody. We will have a very rich program. So may I just like inform all the speakers if you can make your presentations, your speech within 10 minutes. And then, well, actually this time that Chanja has helped us to put up a timing clock on the screen. So if you can see that there's like almost running out of time, that please try to wrap up your presentation as soon as possible. So but still, that because we have interpretation, so please try to be like precise, but then speak clearly and slowly, and then let our participants can understand what you have said through the interpretation. So I will hand over the times to also Sutani to be the moderator of the first panel. Unmute
Your
yourself.
microphone.
Sutani.
Your microphone is not okay.
Okay, I'm coming back. We will start the first session. First session is keynote speaker. The theme of this speaker is the urgency of maternity protection and care work recognition in ASEAN. We are proud to have two keynote speakers. First one is Miss Sayuri Koko. Okada from UNSCAP. Second is Miss Wanti Tuha from ALOS. The issue that we will hear from them today, for Miss Sayuri Koko, we will hear about the issue of toward ASEAN Community Vision 2045. As we know, ASEAN announced the Community Vision 2045, and we will hear about this from Coco. And from Tuha, we will hear about ALOS position on social protection and care economy. First, I would like to pass the microphone to Coco. But before we hear from Coco, I would like to introduce Coco to the panel. Miss Sayuri Koko Okada managed the social protection portfolio at the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific. She has been working with countries to implement the regional action plan to strengthen regional cooperation on social protection to foster more inclusive and comprehensive social protection system. As part of this, she has led a team to develop the social protection online toolbox and its social protection simulator. Before working on social protection, Coco worked for 15 years on gender, population and development and program management issue at ASEAN, the Economic and Social Commission for Western Asia, and the ILO as well. So we're really proud to have her to be our keynote speaker today. May I pass the microphone to Miss Sayuri Koko Okada.
Thank you so much for your warm welcome. If I could share my screen for the presentation. I'm really very honored to be part of this webinar to share some of our thoughts on the ASEAN Community Vision 2045. I'd like to start by highlighting that there are elements in the Community Vision 2045 which do strongly underpin key principles of social protection in terms of its economy, political, sociocultural, and institutional strengthening components and pillars of the vision. And we see that its principles really help to highlight and emphasize the equitable access to economic opportunities, promoting social justice, leaving no one behind, as well as importance of cross-pillar coordination and importance of promoting sustainability and climate responses. And we see this also emphasized and reinforced in the joint statement of the 12th ASEAN Ministerial Meeting on Social Welfare and Development that took place in August earlier this year. And again, really emphasizing the need for comprehensive and inclusive social protection systems and commitments to extending quality coverage, quality of social protection, sustainable financing, shock responsive and gender adapted social protection, digital innovations, as well as highlighting also the importance of the participation of CSOs and role of grassroots social services systems. We also would like to highlight, in addition to this, though, the importance of looking at social protection, not just as a poverty reduction tool, although it is a very powerful poverty reduction tool and absolutely critical for development, the importance of social protection, not just for poor and lower income groups, but also for everybody. And the importance of this is that it should be not just seen as something for one segment of society, but also from rich to poor, from cradle to grave, for everybody throughout life, including workers and informal workers. And I think that's an important message that needs to come through, in addition to highlighting the role of social protection as a poverty reduction tool. In this presentation, I'd like to pick up on two main areas that we hope will be taken forward in this community vision, and also in the development of the Social Protection ASEAN Action Plan 2026-2030. And these will be in terms of maternity protection, and also, if there is time, I'd like to touch on the importance of climate change and social protection. In terms of maternity protection, we have seen a lot of progress in the region in terms of coverage. And the majority of countries in the region do provide the legal right to maternity leave. But even so, only 40% of mothers of newborns receive a maternity benefit. Now, why is this? This is mainly because the majority of maternity leave is provided through mandatory contributory social security schemes. Very few are provided through voluntary social security schemes, and just a handful of tax-financed non-contributory social protection benefits. And why is having the majority of maternity leave benefits through contributory mandatory schemes, why is this a barrier to women? Well, primarily because the majority of women, 62% of women of reproductive age, are in informal employment in Asia and the Pacific. So they're not accessing work-related social security benefits. And also another point is that the majority of women are not even in the labor force. They are outside the formal labor force, although they are, obviously in the care economy, but not in the official labor force. So the 60% of women of reproductive age are outside the labor force, so don't have any access to social protection, contributory social protection schemes, and a minority to poverty targeted schemes. But when we look at the ILO social protection floor, we see that all mothers should have access to maternity benefits. Not just working mothers, but all mothers should have access to ensure access to an adequate standard of living during this very vulnerable and fragile time of life. And when we look at the cost of providing a universal tax-financed maternity benefit, we see that the cost is not out of reach. Actually, it's one of the lowest investments in a universal social protection schemes amongst the different life cycle schemes, and with just an average of 0.1% of GDP to cover a universal non-contributory tax-financed maternity benefit for all mothers of newborns across 29 countries in Asia and the Pacific. This is from our SGAT Spot Simulator tool. So really a low-hanging fruit and absolutely worthwhile investment. And this is primarily because of the low number of mothers that would be that there are compared to, say, older persons of child benefits. But even so, only a minority of schemes are providing non-contributory tax-financed maternity benefits. We see, for example, Armenia, or tax-financed benefits in Cambodia, India, or New Zealand. But many of these are provided in terms of lump sum payments. So in terms of some of the key design features that we would like to see promoted in maternity protection and maternity leave benefits, firstly, in terms of the financing modalities. Now, when they're tax financed, that's clear, it's financed by taxes and general tax revenues. But when we're looking at contributory schemes, it's really important that the schemes are paid through social insurance from employer and employee contributions into pooled funds, and not through employer liability models, because these put the onus, the burden of paying the full maternity benefit on employers, and that can disincentivize employers to hire women. So we want to find ways of promoting maternity benefits that don't then discriminate against women's economic participation. So important to look at a risk, at that sort of ensuring the sharing of risk and ensuring the sharing of payments between employers and employees. In terms of the duration, again, it's important here to look at providing maternity benefits that are regular and predictable income transfers made periodically, not lump sum birth grant. Although these are great, you know, in providing some relief at the time of birth, it's important that mothers have access to that regular income for the first few months of their maternity. And we do see quite a few countries providing lump sum birth grants, but not that regular income security women need. And the duration matters. Many countries that provide maternity benefits do fulfill the 14-week minimum recommended by the ILO Convention 183, but very few provided for the 18 weeks recommended by ILO Recommendation 191. In terms of adequate benefit levels, it's important that the benefits, when they are provided, that they're provided at an adequate level so that the mother and infant can stay healthy and out of poverty. For contributory schemes, ILO Convention 183 indicates that it should be at least 2/3 of past earnings, and Recommendation 191, 100% of replacement rates. But in addition to these maternity benefits, we also need to highlight that women need to have access also to medical benefits to cover prenatal, childbirth, postnatal, and hospitalization where needed, so that women aren't facing catastrophic out-of-pocket expenditures simply because for maternity. So these need to be provided on top of maternity benefits, and we need to be mindful of these additional costs for maternity. And finally, I think it's important to highlight the importance of paternity leave and the need to also balance the gender segregation of care responsibilities. Providing paternity leave has been shown from studies to enhance engagement of fathers in caregiving responsibilities, as well as increase life satisfaction of fathers, and also support more participation of women in the labor force. We see that 22 countries offer some kind of paternity leave, but many for just a few days, maximum 2 weeks. Very few offer beyond 2 weeks. Japan, for example, offers between 4 weeks to extendable to 1 year. But the uptake is still very, very low because of the stigma attached to fathers taking paternity leave. And that's something that we need to work on. In terms of maternity leave, we also need to see it as a part of the continuum of care, across childhood, and that paternity responsibilities continue throughout childhood, beyond just infancy. And it's important to look at the continuum of care, because this highlights the different needs that women and fathers and children have in terms of the additional costs of childcare, but also the different medical needs and that the families have across childhood. And so we can see how social protection benefits can support and at which stages they need the support, and also identify ways in which we can balance care between men and women, and also work-life balance through providing social protection benefits, and the really critical role that having access to social protection plays in ensuring that we have access to that security. In addition to that, it's important to highlight the care economy and social protection provided for unpaid and paid carers in the care economy. And we see that social protection can be used to support working mothers. For example, in Turkey, there was a babysitter cash transfer being provided to working mothers who are earning twice the minimum wage, to help them cover costs of domestic workers taking care of their children. And this was also only for domestic workers that were registered. So it also helped to increase the registration of domestic workers, and also help relieve the burden of paying for childcare for working mothers. In addition, we see income supplements provided for caregivers of persons with disabilities, which also highlights the need to provide that cash income security for caregivers who are often giving up time to work in the formal labor force to provide this unpaid care. In Kyrgyzstan and Laos, PDR, for example, we see that there's a constant attendance supplement being provided for caregivers of persons with disabilities. And we see this also in other countries where cash transfers and are being provided for caregivers of persons with disabilities. Important also are pension credits for workers taking time out of the labor force to provide care responsibilities, and so ensuring that they don't then compensate their pension income because of the years spent in caregiving. So there are various ways in which social protection can and should be used to support the care economy. Now, if I could just take a few minutes to highlight the importance of looking at social protection and climate change, particularly because of the impact that climate change is having on workers, in particular informal workers whose jobs are climate dependent, workers in agriculture, fisheries, or construction, or outdoors, street vendors, for example, and the impact that climate change is having on their livelihoods. We see that there are people in vulnerable situations and in informal work are increasingly exposed to climate change. Here we see the graph which shows the number of countries that will face different ratings of risk over the next 2 decades, and their exposure to multiple hazards. And we compare this with the level of coverage as measured by the access to social protection coverage, SDG indicator 1.3.1. And we see that the majority of countries in ASEAN face medium to high risk of climate exposure to climate risk in the next few decades, but also very little social protection coverage to buffer and support people being resilient to these risks. So it's really important that countries are building that resilience and the resilience of people and systems to climate change. Here, I won't have time to go into too much detail, but this is just to highlight that climate change is not just the impact of disasters and shock response. Although this is very important, and we do see social protection systems being used to channel humanitarian aid, and very important to have that coordination and mechanisms in place. But in addition to that, climate change policies, for example, that disrupt people's workers' livelihoods when we transition away from different fossil fuel industries, for example, or the disruption of extreme weather events of livelihoods, just highlighting the importance of having that coordination in place so that we can help workers transition to more climate-friendly forms of production. I realize I am almost out of time, but I just want to highlight that this is really important because this highlights the need to extend unemployment insurance, worker contributory schemes for all workers. I think that is signaling, I can't see, I can only hear, but I think that's signaling the end of my presentation. I just wanted to highlight the work that we're doing, including with 3 ASEAN countries, to promote climate resilient and inclusive social protection. That's part of our action plan, and the importance of regional cooperation on to promote social protection. And I just leave you with a few key messages here from this presentation. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much, Coco. It's a very important information, and I myself as well, I will learn further from your presentation. If it's possible, please share your presentation in the chat box.
Absolutely.
It will be very appreciated.
And thank you so
Thank you
much
so
again
much.
for the opportunity. Thank you.
And now I would like to introduce our second keynote speaker, Tuha, who will come to talk with us about ALOS's position on social protection and care economy.
Thank you.
ค่ะ May I
Thank you,
introduce you
Suntari.
a bit to her? Just a
Okay.
minute. Her
Okay.
full name is Wanti Tuha. Tuha is the currently coordinator of our ALOS ASEAN Roundtable on Social Protection, which is a network of, like I told you before, we are a network of focusing on learning and mutual support on the thematic issue of social protection for both formal, informal workers and also the other vulnerable grassroots workers as well. So to keep the time, I would like to just end my introduction by telling you that Tuha has more than 30 years of experience in the field of employment, labor rights, and social protection. As she be the currently coordinator of ALOS, so she's the right one who will present to us about ALOS position and social protection and care economy. You have 10 minutes, Tuha, please.
Thank you, Suntari. So you already introduced Wow about Arab, right? So I can make it very quickly. Just a little bit on AROS. That is a regional network. It currently we have 57 member, individual country network and organization from 13 countries and in the regions. And we also have a subgroup at Southeast Asia, East Asia, South Asia, and international group. And yeah, like Sundari already said, the network includes grassroots worker organization, trade union, NGO, and scholar in Asia. And this is a platform to provide mutual help, facilitate information sharing, and help organization build their understanding on social protection. And it's aimed to support and consolidate the regional structure for social protection for the poor across various sectors in Asia. And very quickly on the vision, our vision is a universal social protection for all. And our mission is to bring together all the marginalized worker organizations and allies to exchange. And our goal is to fight, to transform social protection. Let's talk a little bit about our understanding on social protection. What does it mean for grassroots people? This is the rights-based and non-discrimination. Social protection is not a privilege, and it's a human rights, basic human rights. It should be universal and inclusive, available and accessible for all without strict and bureaucratic requirement for eligibility. And it should be gender responsive and transformative, not only addressing the need and interest of both women and women, and men and girl and boy throughout the life cycle, but also address root cause of gender inequality within the society. And it should be grassroots oriented. The program should take into account the kind of protection that the grassroots need. And it should be the state responsibility, not private sector-led. Yeah. For example, now, public hospital and basic services are being privatized, while the insurance industry is dominated by big insurance companies. This should be stopped. The privatization should be stopped. And and it should be democratic, participatory, and civil society driven. The whole process of providing social protection should be consultative, transparent, representative, and participatory, treating people, especially the poor, as a partner in an agent of change. And it should be comprehensive and self-responsive. This one, Coco already talked a lot. And the sub here is could be very broad. It's not it could be economic crisis, environmental disaster, and depossessions, and it should be reform grounded, transformative, answer in a pro-people development policy, and also to be taking into account cultural diversity. So from that perspective of the social protection, how we see the care economy, what does it mean, transformative care economy for us? So care is a basic human right. That is one principle that we believe. And the other, universal care is enjoyable by all. And care economy address also gender inequality. I make it very short because later we also have one speaker talk more about our joint statement on care. So why universality when we talk about care? When we talk about universal public basic social services, yeah, people can be agree easily. But when we talk about universal social protection, it could be a question. Many people will say, oh, we don't have money. So that's just the poor only. So that kind of practice is already can be seen now in Asia, Southeast Asia and South Asia. Is the level of the coverage is the lowest in Asia. So it means that the population that protected in at least one area of social protection is very small. It's 1/3, less than 1/3 in Southeast Asia and 1/4 in South Asia. And it's last year research of ILO is say if the current methods to deal with social protection, the world we need another 49 years to reach 100% of the people who receive at least one social protection support. But universality is possible. In fact, there's many examples in many countries that they apply universal scheme for social protection, and we also can read several research, and also calculation from development pathway to see how universal social protection can be reached. And yeah, from outside, we are very much welcome the care policy package mechanism that introduced by ILO, that talking about right time, income, security, and services. And all this one, you want to see this care policy at country level to provide benefit for the children and also for the family benefits and the elderly benefits and maternity benefit. This one for all, not only the tax-rich people, not only the poor children, only the poor family, only the poor elderly, and only the poor woman. It should be for all. And also in this when the designing the care policy package, the government should take into account to take the voice of the people, and also the people have a right to participate in designing those packets, and also have a voice at top level, high level, like ILO, to talk about the need of the people, especially informal economy worker. And also the care policy package also provides support to the current and the new coming community initiative, like the social solidarity economy initiative. So this one it should be very comprehensive and taking into account the voice of the people. And the way forward is a time for foster a transformative care economy, a purple economy in ASEAN. We believe that with strong political will, ASEAN state members can quickly and decisively develop transformative care policy packages with effective resources to ensure decent care work and living income. Living income is not is a big issue for care, because without that, people cannot live in the dignity and don't have money for care. And another one is ASEAN should promote transformative public services, more government's investment in public services and care infrastructure, especially for rural and mountainous areas, and make necessary public services available, accessible, qualified, and free to all, especially pre-primary education for children, childcare center, including after-school childcare and healthcare, and also other care, like Coco mentioned in her presentation. And the other one is the ASEAN will take more social dialogue. A channel should be kind of a channel for regular update and discussion on social protection and care economy to ensure a care community in ASEAN 2045 between ASEAN and civil society. So that is what we believe and want. And of course, later, Aura will talk more about our recommendation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you too much, Tuha. And I think right now our participant get the information about the situation of maternity protection in ASEAN, especially related to the Vision 2045, and at the same time, we learn about the position, the standpoint of our movement a lot. So this is the like is the end of our session, and I will pass the microphone back to Mabel, our moderator of the day. Thank you so much. And thank you, Coco and Tuha, once again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sundari.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the opening and keynote speech. And then we will start to have our first panel. And then we will have Raquel Castro to be the moderator of
คุณ
this
จตุรงค์ก็ไม่สะดวกแช
panel.
ร์นะคะ
And then Raquel is an activist, a development worker, and a lifelong learner. She is lead convener of the Solidarity for People's Education and Lifelong Learning in the Philippines, SPEL, which challenged the neoliberal concept of human capital development and its political economy, and seeks instead to build sustainable human capacities for development towards a life of dignity. She works with the Movement for Alternative and Solidarities in Southeast Asia, MASSA, and advocating for alternative regionalism grounded on people's struggles and alternative practice. She is also vice president of Freedom from Debt Coalitions, the longest running debt campaign center in the world, with about 250 members organizations advocating for the people's economy. So Raquel, please.
Okay, thank you so much, Mabel, for that for that introduction. And for this part of the whole webinar, we're going to have a panel discussion. We have seen earlier in the keynote the scoping of our aspirations for social protection, maternity protection, and related issues across the region, across Southeast Asia, across ASEAN, and maybe even beyond, because mentioning also our brothers and sisters in South and Southwest Asia. But for now, because this webinar is under the ambit of the ASEAN Civil Society Conference, ASEAN People's Forum, we are a bit more focused on the Southeast Asia. And we have seen that the scoping is the regional scoping for what we want. And we wanted to critically assess existing maternity and care-related policies across ASEAN, and reviewing the ASEAN Vision 2045 from the perspective of the ASEAN united under one vision, one identity, and one caring and sharing community, as expressed in the ASEAN Charter way back in 2007. So now we would like to open this next panel discussion. This one now goes to the country level. And we are looking at speakers from Lao PDR, speaker also from Thailand, and another from Indonesia. And what we would like them to come up with in this, we ask them to share 10 minutes each again. First, ASEAN Declaration, strengthening the care economy and its roadmap, something about its roadmap. Second, we ask another speaker also, how does it happen in Thailand, and how is it the maternity protection for women workers, how is it expanded in the social security scheme in the country, at the country level. And then we also look at in Indonesia, and we would like also to tease out, to highlight, how is it being promoted, the greater synergy and coordination to realize the ASEAN Vision 2045 across Indonesia as a country. Okay, maybe, thank you. So Chandra has put there, I would like to go to the first speaker. So the first speaker will be from Lao PDR, and she is Dr. Ninpasut Chayaphonsi. I hope I pronounced the name well. And she has a PhD in strategy and regional development, is the Director General of the Department of Women Development, works with LWU for 30 years experience. Maybe she can explain what that is. In international relations, gender equality, women health, economic empowerment strategy and laws of development, women and child rights, and various roles as leader and trainer working in different organizations. She was working group member on drafting the declaration, take note, on the terms of reference for the ASEAN Commission for the Promotion and Protection of the Right of Women and Children way back in 2009, the CEDAW report in 2008, among other gender programs in Laos. So Dr. Ninpasut, 10 minutes please, and we remind our speakers to please try to speak slowly because we have interpreters in other languages. And also to remind everybody else, all the participants, to please mute your audio so that we do not disturb our speakers when they are talking. So please, Dr. Ninpasut Chayaphonsi. Very difficult to pronounce your name.
It's okay. You can call me Nin. Good morning.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Good morning, Madam Chairs, and good morning, Excellency, distinguished delegates, colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for giving me to be here to be a speaker on behalf of the Lao Women's Union and Lao PDI as well. As you know, we are very proud. Allow me to share some key points that while Laos PDI has really proud on this one, we did successfully, especially we integrate our care plan of actions in the Lao Women's Union program and action plan from now to 2026 to 2030. And we is also successful in integrate our plan align closely with the national socio-economic of Laos strategy that will serve not only for the roadmap, including and the gender responsive and development. Could you please share my slide? Yes, I do have my presentation. Before I move to the something that I would like to share with our colleagues, that's when we talk about the gender in Laos, we have a loss of the advance and also a barrier. For example, in Laos, when the gender disparity in the caregiving, access to the resources systematic and disadvantaged women and girls, making them more valuable. And secondly, as you know, the women undertake 5 times more unpaid care work and the domestic work more than men, limited their opportunity to learn something else. And the unpaid work is very burdenous to the women, especially in the rural areas and other places. And because it's marginalizing group, is the cause also for the cycle of the poverty in our country. Where is my slide? My
It's on
presentation,
your,
please. I don't know how.
it's there.
Yeah, it's with you. Could you
No,
please
no,
share? Yeah,
it's being
because I
shown.
don't.
It's being shown there because you're on the screen, but then maybe you can click on, yeah, make it full screen mode, the
Sorry,
presentation.
sorry that
Okay, now it's
yeah,
coming. Fine.
misunderstanding on the on the
Okay.
room.
Yeah, you can
Sorry,
make.
sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can make it bigger. I already moved the slide number 4. Okay, time is constrained. Yes, yes, next. Okay, allow me to share. No, come back a little bit. Allow me to share about the employee unpaid care work household business data in Laos. As you see, a majority of them are living in the rural areas. 45% are female. And even the rural area and also in urban area, the female engage a lot of number of care and household business doing. But there are only 1% of the National Security Fund that they were legislated. And the most important is that the care work contributes to the social economy, but the women work very hard and overlooked in terms of the gender inequality. Next slide. So therefore, it allows me first strengthening the data evidence that system that we're gonna to do really soon. And we would like to thank also the ACSC and Oxfam and other development donors that support us. We did aim to significant to improve the disaggregated data and in the care specific data in the present. And we try to have a very good comprehensive data in critical, recognize and value of the scale of uncared work in our country. The second one, next. The second, we would like to raise awareness and build the capacity, especially we hope that to educate on the public, especially the rural marginalizing group, because majority of my work, I am working in the rural area and to shift the gender norm around the care. We also aim to equipable to local actors to serve, provide with the tool, integrate the community plan, and Laos Women Union, my department will play a significant role in terms of doing that. Next slide. And the third, we investing in accessibility and affordable infrastructure and services. So right now, we are doing a really big programs. We try to integrate social protection, the child rights and women rights in some program that we call is parenting programs, really big. Now we have more than 600 villages around the country, and we try to improve the system of the UNICEF for the social protection and child protection as well. That we try to reduce the burdenness of the women by support something is for them for economic and society empowerment. So thank you again for the ASCAP and Oxfam to launch with us during our conference, especially the book that we do have a lot of the recommendations in terms of the insight and practical recommendation for the care economy in our country. So ladies and gentlemen, allow me to move into the second part of my talk, care economy practice in Laos. Actually, Laos has a lot of remarkable progress in terms of supporting legislative and policy strategy and support women participation in all areas of the world. And we also expansion of our 4 national health insurance schemes and also to support the health system and health services, encourage all the member of the women to accessible to the services. And from nowadays, we try to encourage much more because we saw the data only 1% among them to achieve to be legislative. So in Laos, I would like to share with you a little bit next slide about our care economy as a national policy. We do have the 3 areas very important. First one, we do have the universal healthcare scheme. And the second one, we have national social security. And the third one, we are using the labor law as a tool for our moving forward. Let's see. The government of Laos has provided a free deliver for the poor family who has children under 5 years. And we also have the opportunity to support the women to get more benefit in terms of receiving maternity benefit and free deliver. Especially we include on informal or formal workers in Laos who are the female, you have that right. And the labor law, they have the specific article. They're talking about specific article. They're talking about how many days, 105 days for maternity leave. And if you have the twins baby, is a man, you take about 2 weeks. This is a rule of the government. Everybody respect. So labor law also cover the sick leave and other types of leave. They have very detailed in that one. But of course, the practical in doing that was slowly and step by step. So degree of domestic worker have been adopted protection. Next slide, please. Allow me to share the very good example in the rural area that we are working with the women and in terms of protection, the child, the women rights. We are carrying on the GBV programs. And we also teach on the society, especially we focus on in the school. We also carrying on the program on the saving for change for the poor people. And we are, next slide, we are bringing the system on the gender action learning system. Next slide, please. Yes, that one to the community in terms of the support the women to change and empower their economic development. So we also have the opportunity in terms of accessibility key information on in area of the women, especially International Women's Day exhibition on work on women work and the important days of Laos in here with raising. So advising, may I move to another third my speaking. This is the advising care economy in Laos. We learn a lot from Cambodia. We learn a lot from Indonesia. We also learn a lot of the Philippines. We have a lot of key information. Next slide. I moved already. Next slide, please. Yes. And in terms of doing the care advising, we also host the regional forum care work in Laos. That we have the last one that we have the consultation meeting on the care economy next. And then we also have the meeting with ASEAN Committee on Women, ACSC, in Laos, the focus in the last year. We also host and disseminate on information to all women leaders in Laos and to all the decision makers in Laos who look after the tasks and work of the women in this country. And next slide. We also, the last one, we do have before we have the ministerial meeting, we host the Lao National Consultation on Care. And thank you again for the UNESCAP and Oxfam to support, and also the ASEAN Secretariat, especially Miguel to support us and us other friends from ASEAN member state and NGOs as well. Next slide, please. So my time is close, but because we have the technical pattern, the thing that we do have the successfully the ASEAN Women Leaders Summit. Next slide, next slide. Yeah. And then this is hosted by our Prime Minister. Is commitment from the ASEAN Women Leaders Summit. That time is all the ASEAN members commit to move to bring the care work in the social in them social development in them in their own country, and we successfully. And so this is, we are very proud. May I move to the second questions? This is only 3 minutes. May I share the roadmap of the ASEAN in here? We do have the remarkable, and we would like to thank about the roundtable meeting, especially ISOP that on organizer, and combining with the UNSCAP for the model on care economy. We just been hearing our colleagues, Coco, Yalia just telling us. Of course, Lao Women Union, we work very closely with the ACW and ACWC. Next. And milestone here, we do have everybody knows that we have the declarations on the strengthening on the economy, fostering resilience as a landmark, that in this November, we will join the meeting with the ASEAN member states and to see on how much we can do on that. And of course, Lao PDR will obtain as well. We do have the reflection of the ASEAN strategy as a carry inclusive the resilient community from now to 2045. Everybody knows, and this coming recognize both economic and social. So next slide, please. Persistent gaps. Of course, it is we have the women economic empowerment to force how to encourage the labor force participant and implementation of remain uneven, particularly for the informal worker, home-based worker, migrant, those in our region, and contact care services through recognition of the policy, and etc. So partnership principle, we still, next slide. Partnership principle, we also focus on the daily priority on required for home and promotion decent work. Come back again. And we will work with, again, close with the ACW and ACWC, and we will focus on the health, on the labor and social welfare, especially we will notice the Ministry of the Social Welfare will be our friend in the future. And the next is, I am already the principal. Next slide. Yeah. Next slide. Yes. In ways, I would like to partnership principle here, we already in the pathway that is to ensure the policy are not only designed, but also reach the women, family, and community who need for them most. So may I move to my final slide, talking about that. Yes, in the investing, especially we will work in very closely with ASEAN member states. The coming soon, about the how to say the meeting on the care work in Kuala Lumpur, that will make the turning points to moving us for commitment on the paper, tangible and action that to strengthen the women rights and women and well-being and resilience of our society in our region. And we also will be very, very good friends in this way to ensure the policy are not only will be designed, but also reach the women, family, and community, as been telling, and we will share hands. So ladies and gentlemen, by summarize on my speaking that investing in care is investing in the people and communities and sustainable development. When care is recognized, reduced, distributed, and rewarded, everyone benefit. Because in our world, in our region, women engage more than 51%. If we can take this, integrate in on our plan of action, not only for the INGO, but all development partners, will be very useful, not only benefit for our region, but our own countries. So may I give some slogan from my heart that if we want to go fast, we will go alone. If we want to go far, we should go together. The care work cannot be end without our hand, without your sharing hand. And thank you very much for your useful opportunity, and thank you very much for your attention. And in my concluding, if I may, I would like to wish our meeting successfully, and thank you very much, and hope to see you in Kuala Lumpur, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nin. I hope you will still stay because if we have time, we would like to solicit a few questions from our participants, and I also would like to throw maybe one question at you. But for now, we would like to go to thank you for this, and we would like to go to the next speaker in this panel. Maybe Chandra, can you now flash the profile of our speaker from Thailand, Mr. Jaturong Prai Singh. Did I pronounce it right? Dr. Prai Singh? Mr. Prai Singh, sorry, from the Social Security Scheme Board in Thailand. Okay. So he's a representative of workers in the 14th Social Security Scheme Board, or SSS Board, chairperson of the Subcommittee on Outstanding Payment of Social Security Scheme, member of 2 subcommittees on drafting the secondary legislation of the Social Security Act and achievement evaluation of the Social Security Scheme. He's also secretary of Associate Judge, Labor Court Region, Academic Department of Thai Labor Solidarity Confederation, member of the Executive Committee of the Industrial Labor Confederation of Thailand, president of Petroleum and Chemical Labor Federation. So must be huge, no? And president of the Glass and Chemical Industry Union of Thailand. So our friends and comrades, please let us listen to the inputs from our speaker, Mr. Jaturong Prai Singh.
ครับสวัสดีครับ
Hello
ผม
everyone.
จตุรงค์นะครับ
My name is
จะต้องรบกวน
Jaturong.
ขอสไลด์เพิ่ม
So please
ก็
can I have my
ผม
slide?
ก็ยินดีที่ได้เข้าร่วม
I'm
แล
very
กเปลี่ยน
pleased
ใน
to
วัน
be
นี้นะ
able
ครับ
to
ผมก็เป็นตัว
attend
แท
the
นใน
meeting
ประเทศไทย
today.
ที่
I'm a
ขับเคลื่อน
representative
เรื่อง
from
เกี่ยวกับแรง
Thailand
งานหญิง
who
ใน
is
ประเทศไทย
working
มา
on
พอสมควรครับผมอาจจะเป็น
the women worker in
ประธานสหภาพแร
Thailand.
งงานในประเทศไทย
I
คน
might
แรกที่
be the
เราขับเค
first
ลื่อนเรื่องการที่ให้ ผู้ห
labor
ญิงนะครั
union
บลาป่วยประ
president
จำเดื
who
อนได้
drive
แล้วเราก็
on
ทำสำ
the
เร็จด้วยนะครับ
menstruation leave
ก็
for women, and
สา
we
มารถลาได้
succeed
เดือน
on
ละ
that
1 วัน
already.
นะครับ
Now they can
ก็
take
ถื
leave
อเป็น
at
ที่แร
least
กที่เราได้ท
1 day
ำที
per
นี้
month.
ตอนที่เรา
This is
ท
our
ำใน
first
ระ
step.
บบนะครับมันเป็น
And
แรงงานในระบบซะส่วนใหญ่
so
ส่วนใน
most of
ที่
our
ผ
work
ม
is
มาอยู่
for
ในสัด
the
ส่วนของคณะกร
formal
รมการประกัน
workers.
สังคมนะครับซึ่งจ
And
ริงๆก็ได้
when
ทำงา
I
นร่วมกับ
joined
ทาง
the
พี่สุนทรี
SSS board,
นะครับซึ่งก็
I
เป็น
have
แรง
been
งาน
working
นอกระ
together
บบ
with
นะครับวันนี้จะขอคุยในส่
คุ
ว
ณ
น
สุ
ข
น
อง
ทรี
ที่เข้าไปขับเคลื่อน
and
ที่จะ
so
ดูแล
I would like to
แรง
explain
งาน
to you
นอกระบบ
about
ที่เป็นสุภา
our
พสตรี
movement
ครับ
to
ว่าเรา
take
ทำอะไร
care
ไปแล้ว
of
บ้างครับ อยากจะรบ
informal
กวนขอ
worker,
สไลด์ต่อ
especially
ไปครับ
women. What have we done so
ครับ
far?
ซึ่งในระบบประกันสังคม
So
Um,
in
excuse me, can you make it full screen the presentation? Is it already full screen? Because it's cut off
โอเคครับ
down. Yeah.
one
Yeah.
น่าจะ
moment.
กดตัวบน
It is full
Thank
screen.
you.
โอเคครับ ต่อเลยนะครับ
Okay, so I'll continue.
ต่อได้
ค
เล
รั
ย
บ
ค่ะ
ก็
Okay.
ครับในส่วนของประกันสังคมนะครับก็
So
เรา
for
จะ
the
แบ่งในส่วนของผู้
security
ประกันตน
scheme,
นะครับไว้
we
2 กลุ่มใหญ่
divide
ๆก็คือกลุ่มที่อยู่ในระบบแรงงานปกติทั่วไปก็คือ
the
ถ้าในประเทศไท
beneficiary
ยเรา
into
จะเรีย
two
ก
groups.
ในส่วนของมาตรา 33 ส่วน
For
แรงงาน
the we
ที่เป็
have
น
the
อยู่
first
แรง
group,
งานนอก
the
ระบบเนี่ย
Article
ก็จะจัดอยู่
33,
ใน
and
ก
then
ลุ่ม
for
ขอ
the
ง
informal
มาตรา
worker,
40
they
นะ
will
ครับ
be in
ซึ่ง
the
มาตรา
Article
40 นะครับ
40.
เราก็จะมี
And for the
แบ่งกลุ่ม
Article
ย่อยเป็น
40,
3 กลุ่ม
we
ซึ่งกลุ่มแรกเนี่ยก็
again
จะเป็น
divide
ในส่วน
into
ของ
three
การจ่าย
groups.
เงินสมทบ 70 บาท แล้ว
The
ก็
first
จะ
group
มี
is for the
รัฐสมทบให้
contributory group,
30 แล้วก็จะมีในส่วนของกลุ่มที่ 2 เนี่ย
70 baht
จ่าย
per
100
month.
บาทนะครับซึ่งจะมีรัฐสมทบ
And
50
then
บาท และกลุ่มที่ 3 เนี่ยจะเป็นส่วนที่
for
ผู้ประกัน
the
ตน
second
จ่าย
group, it's
300
pay
บาท แล้วก็
contribution
จะมี
for
รัฐ
100
เพิ่ม
baht.
ขึ้น 150 บาทครับ
And
ก็
then the
ขอ
government
สไลด์ต่อไป
pay
เลยครับ
50. And then the third group, they
ครับ
pay 300. And then
สั
the
กกลุ่ม
government
แรก
pay
นะครับก็จะมีการ
150.
คุ้มครอง
For the
นะครับ
first group,
สำหรับ
we have
ผู้ประกันตนก็จะ
many
มีเรื่องของ
entitlements.
การเจ็บไข้ได้ป่วยซึ่งได้รับ
And
ค่าตอบแทน
the
นะครับ
first thing is
ซึ่ง
for
ก็จะมีเงื่อนไข
compensation
ค่อน
for
ข้าง
loss
เยอะ
of
ใน
income
ส่วน
due
ของ
to
เดิมนะครับ
illnesses.
ก็ในกลุ่มนี้ครับ
We
กลุ่ม
have
ที่จ่าย
some
70 บาท
condition
เนี่ย
here
จะคุ้มครอง
for
3 กรณี
the
นะครับ
70
ก็จะ
baht
มี
group.
เรื่องของประสบ
We
อันตราย
protect
ทุพ
them
พ
in
ล
three
ภาพหรือเสีย
cases.
ชีวิตนะครับ ผมอาจจะย
So
กตัวอย่างให้ดู
illnesses,
สั้นๆ เดี๋ยวจะมีสไล
disability
ด์
or death
สรุปหน้าสุดท้าย
or
ต่อไป
death
สไล
case.
ด์ต่อไปได้เลยครับ
And for the next
ครับ
group,
ในกลุ่มที่ 2 เนี่ยจะข
for the
ยับจาก
second
3
group,
กรณีเป็น 4
we
กรณีนะครับ
move
4 กร
the
ณีก็จะเพิ่
entitlement
มใน
from
เรื่อง
three
ของ
entitlements to
บ
four
ำเหน็จ
entitlements.
ชราภาพขึ้น
And
มา
then
เพิ่ม
we
เติม
add the
นะครับ
O8
ส่วน
pension, which
อย่าง
we
อื่น
pay
ก็จะ
in
เหมือน
lump
เดิม
sum.
นะครับ ก็จะมี
And
เรื่อ
then
งข
the
องช
rest
ราภาพ
will be the
ที่เป็น
same.
เงินก้อนเพิ่มขึ้นให้ครับต่อไปสไลด์ต่อไปครับ
Next, please.
นะครับ ในส่วนนี้จะเป็นกลุ่มที่ 3 ซึ่งจะมีการ
This
ข
is
ยาย
the
ความ
third
คุ้มครอง
group,
เพิ่มมาอีก ก็จะ
and
มีเรื่อง
we
ของเงินสงเคราะ
expand
ห์บุตร
the
และกลุ่มนี้ครับ
entitlement,
จะ
adding the
ส่ง
child
ผล
support
กระทบหรือไปช่วยในส่วนของ
scheme.
แ
This
ร
will
งงานหญิ
help
งนะครับ ซึ่ง
with
จะได้
the
เงินสงเคราะห์บุตร
women
ซึ่งของ
workers.
เดิมเนี่ยครับ
They will
จะได้อยู่
receive
คนละ 200 บาทครั้งละไม่เกิน 2
entitlement
คน
for
นะครั
child
บ
support.
จนให้จ่ายตั้งแต่บุตรแรกเกิดจนถึงบุตรอายุ 6 ขวบ นะครับ
We
ขอไป
give
สไล
this
ด์ต่อไปครับ
compensation from start from 0
ครับ
age to
ใน
6
ส่วนนี้
age
นะครับ
for children.
ก็จะเป็นในส่วนที่ผมนะครับได้เข้าไปเป็นคณะกรรม
And
การในการบริ
after
หารจั
I
ดการนะครับ
joined
เรามีการปรับเพิ่มสิทธิ์
into the
ใน
SSS
สไล
board
ด์เนี่ยครับเป็นสิ่งที่เรา
as
ทำสำเร็จแล้ว
a
นะค
committee
รับ ก็
member,
จะเห็นว่า
this is
ใน
the detail of the new
ช่วงแร
benefit
กนะค
that
รับ
we
เรามีการขยายนะค
succeed
รับจาก
to enlarge
กา
some
รกรณีไป
entitlement.
พบแพทย์นะครับ
For
ซึ่งเป็นผู้
example,
ป่วยนอกเนี่ยเราจะมี
for
การ
the
จ่ายครั้งละ
illness
200
entitlement,
บาทจากเดิมเนี่ย
for
จ่ายเพียง 50
outpatient,
บาทต่อครั้งนะค
we
รับ เราข
pay
ยับให้เป็น
200
200
baht
บาท
per
3 ครั้ง
time.
ต่อปี
We used to pay
แล้วก็
only 50 baht, but we
มีการข
renew
ยับ
the
ใน
benefit
ส่วนของ
and then change
กรณี
the
ที่ไม่ได้นอน
illness
โรงพยาบาลนะครับ
entitlement
มี
for
การเพิ่มสิทธิ
outpatient
ประโยชน์เพิ่ม
to
ขึ้นให้
200
แล้วก็
baht
มี
per
การจ่าย
time.
เพิ่มเงินทดแทนกรณีทุพ
And
พล
then we
ภาพ
also
นะครับ
increased
ก็
the amount of
จากเดิม
the
เนี่ยเราได้เป็นอัตราเดียวครับที่เดือนละ 500 ถึง 1,000 บาท
the amount
แล้
of
วก็มีการข
money
ยับเพิ่มขึ้น
for the
นะครับ สูง
disability
สุดถึง
entitlement.
3,000 บาทต่อเดือนนะครับ
We
แล้วก็
enlarged it
ส่วน
to
เงินสงเคราะห์บุตรนะ
3,000
ครับ
baht
ของ
per
เดิม
month.
เขาจ่ายเพียง 200 บาท 6 ปี
แล้ว
นะค
ก็
รับ ข
for
องใหม่
the
ที่เราปรับไปแล้ว
child
นะครับ เรา
support,
ให้
we changed the
300 บาท
benefit
ต่อบุตร 1 คน
to
นะครับขยับ
300
จาก
baht
6 ปี
per
เป็น
one
7 ปี
children.
ให้สูงขึ้น
And then we
นะ
also
ครับ
increased
แล้วก็
the
ในส่วน
age
ของ
range
เงิน
from
บำเหน็จ
0
นะครั
to
บ
6,
ก็มี
change
การ
it
ปรับ
to
เพิ่ม
0
ขึ้น
to
ให้จ่าย
7.
เงินบำเหน็จช
And
ราภาพให้
then
แก่บุคคลซึ่ง
for the
ของเดิมเนี่ยครับเขาจะไม่มีเงื่อนไข
old
ว่าเว
age
ลาที่
pension
เสียชีวิตไปแล้วเนี่ย
that
ทา
we
ยาท
pay
ที่จะ
in
มารับ
lump
เนี่ย
sum.
ค่อนข้างเสียโอกาสในการมารับนะครับเราก็มีการขยายความ
We
คุ้มครองตัว
changed
นี้
the right
นะครับ
and the benefit
อาจจะรบกวนไปสไลด์ต่อไปครับ
for the old age lump sum
ครับ
pension
ในส่วนของ
for
สไลด์นี้เนี่ย
family members
เป็นสิ่ง
or
ที่เรา
daughters
กำลัง
and
ดำเนิน
sons
การอยู่
that can
นะครับ
get
ซึ่ง
this
ม
amount of
ติใน
money
บอร์ดเนี่ย
also.
อนุมัติ
And this
ผ่าน
is
ไปเรียบร้อย
our
แล้วครับ
current work.
ทีนี้รอในประเทศ
The
ไทยเนี่ยจะป
SSS
รับเปลี่ยน
board
ใดๆก็ตามนะครับ
also
จะต้องผ่าน
pass
รัฐบาลก่อน
the new
ซึ่ง
change.
ตอน
But
นี้
then
บอร์ด
after
ประ
the
กันสังคม
SSS
เอง
board
มีมติผ่าน
pass
เรียบร้อยแล้ว
all
นะครับ
the
ขั้นต่อ
adjusted
ไปเนี่ย
benefit,
เรา
the
ก็
next
จะเส
step
นอให้รั
we
ฐบา
need
ลรับ
to
รอง
propose
แล้วก็
this
ประ
to
กาศ
the
เป็นกฎหมาย
government
บังคับใช้ต่อ
to
ไป ซึ่ง
endorse
สิท
it
ธิประโยช
and
น์ที่
then
เรา
to
กำลัง
announce it as
เพิ่ม
a
ขึ้นให้นะครับ
legal
ก็จะ
amendment.
มีเรื่องของทางเลือก
And
ที่
we
1 ที่
gonna
2 เนี่ย
add
เราจะจ่าย
for
เงินทดแทนการขาดรายได้
the
กรณี
first
คลอด
and
บุตรนะครั
second
บ
group.
จากเดิม 1,000
Oh,
บาทเนี่ย
sorry for
เราจะขยับ
the
เพิ่มขึ้นให้เป็น
maternity
3 เดื
leave
อนนะครับ
compensation.
แล้ว
We
ก็ทาง
gonna
เลือกที่ 3 เนี่ย
expand
เรา
it to
จะจ่าย
3
ให้
months.
3,000 บาทต่อเดือนนะครับรวมเป็นระยะ
And
เวลา 3 เดือนก็
then
จะขยับสูงขึ้น
for
เป็น
the
9,000
first
บาท
and two
ก
group,
ลุ่ม
they
นี้ก็
will
จะเป็นกลุ่ม
receive
แรงงาน
1,000
ระบบ
baht
ที่
per month
จะ
for
ได้รับ
3 months,
นะครับ
and then
แล้วก็
for the third group, they
กรณี
receive
ผู้ขาดตนที่รับ
3,000
การรั
baht
กษาใน
per
สถาน
month
พยา
for
บาล
3 months.
นะค
In
รับ
total,
ตัวนี้ก็จะเป็นส่วนที่จะมีการ
9,000 baht.
ขยับขยายเพิ่มขึ้นให้
And
นะครับ
then for
แต่ที่
the
เราเน้นในตอน
income
นี้เนี่ยเรา
compensation
จะเป็น
of
ในเรื่องของ
accident and
การขยาย
illnesses,
ให้
we
การ
gonna
เพิ่มรายได้ของการคลอดบุตรนะครับซึ่งจะขยับของเดิมตอนนี้เราให้ช่วงอายุที่7 ขวบรอบใหม่เนี่ย
for
จะมี
the
การขยับเพิ่ม
children
ขึ้นให้
support, we
คิด
used
ว่า
to
เราจะ
expand from
พู
0
ดคุย
to
และทำความเข้าใจ
7.
เนี่ยจะ
And
ข
then
ยั
for
บไป
this
สู่
new
ถึง
round of adjusted benefit,
12
we
ข
are
วบ
planning
นะค
to
รับซึ่ง
expand it
อย่าง
to
ไรก็ตาม
12
เนี่ยบอร์ดส่วนใหญ่
12
ในคณะ
years
กรรมการเนี่ย
for
เห็น
child
ชอบกับ
support.
การปรับสิทธิประโยชน์ให้ล้อ ซึ่งในประเทศไทยเนี่ยเรามีระบบประกันสังคมซึ่งบางสิ่งบางอย่างนะครับมันยังด้อยกับ
Of course,
สิทธิ์
in
ของสปส
Thailand,
ช.หรือของรัฐที่กำหนด
we have
นะ
the
ครับ
SSS
แล้วก็
scheme, and then we have
ในประเทศ
also
ไทย
the
นะครับตอน
universal
นี้
health
เนื่
coverage
องจาก
scheme.
รั
We
ฐบาลเนี่ย
still
มีการ
lag
มติในคร
behind
ม.อนุ
when
มัติในเรื่องของ
compared
สิ
to
ทธิ
the
การลาคลอดข
universal
ยับ
health
จาก90
coverage
วันตอนนี้
scheme.
ปรับเป็น120 วันนะครับ
Now, the
ซึ่งพอ
government
เป็น120 วัน
changed
นะครับ
the
ก็จะ
maternity
มีใน
leave
ส่วนของนายจ้าง
duration
ที่รับผิดชอบ
from
จ่ายเงิน 60 วัน ส่วน
90 days to
ประกันสังคม
100
นะครับจะมีการ
and
ขยับเพิ่มขึ้นให้เป็น
20
60 วันด้วย เดิมเนี่ย
and
ประกันสังคมจะจ่ายเงินกรณีว่างงานจากการคลอดบุตรนะครับเพียง 45 วัน ตอนนี้เราก็เตรียมงบประ
the
มาณสำหรับ
SSS
จ่าย
used to
ในส่วน
pay
ที่ต้องรับผิดชอบเพิ่มขึ้นเป็น
for
60 วัน
maternity leave
แล้วก็หลังจาก
only
เนี้ยครับเราก็จะขยับในส่วน
45
ของมา
days,
ตรา
but now
40 เพิ่ม
we
ขึ้นด้วย
enlarge
นะครับ
the
ก็ถือว่าเป็นแรง
protection, the
แรงงานนอกระบบ
compensation
ที่ควรที่ต้
for
องขยับข
maternity
ยาย
leave
เพิ่มขึ้น ครับ
up to
แล้วก็
90 days.
สไลด์ต่อ
Sorry,
ไปครับ
60 days.
กับสไลด์ต่อไปเนี่ยเป็นภาพสะท้อ
For
นให้เห็
this
นว่า
slide,
ผม
it
เองอยู่ใน
shows
กลุ่ม
you
ของสมาน
some
ฉันท์แรงงานไทย ซึ่งเราดูแล
reality
แรงงานนอกระบบด้วย
happen here.
เรากำลังขับเคลื่อน
We
เรื่องของ
of
สิท
course
ธิค
we
วาม
are
เป็นมารดา
trying
นะครับ
to
ส่วนใหญ่ก็จะเป็นใน
take
ส่วนของ
care of
กฎหมายใน
women
ประเทศไทยเนี่ย
in
จะคุ้มครอง
informal
แรงงานใน
worker.
ระบบอะครับ ส่วนภาพขวามือเนี่ยซึ่งยังมีแรงงานอีกกลุ่มหนึ่งที่เป็นแร
There
งงานนอกระ
are
บบนะครับ
still
คนนี้นะค
many
รับเป็น
groups
พนัก
of
งานที่
labor
ขับ
in
ไรเดอร์
informal
นะครับ
sector.
ขับส่ง
For
อาหารเนี่ย
example,
ซึ่งจะเห็นว่า
a mother
ผู้
who
หญิง
is
เนี่ยครับ
working as
ยัง
a
ยัง
food
ทำงานหนัก
delivery,
แล้วก็จะมีปัญหาเรื่องการเลี้ยง
women
ดูบุตร
still
นะครับ
need to
ซึ่
work
งจะ
very
เห็นว่าการ
hard
ไปทำงานของ
while
เขาเนี่ย
taking their
ก็จะมี
children.
จะต้องเอาลูก
You
ติด
can
ไปด้
see
วย
from
นะ
the
ครับ
photo
ผม
that
คิด
she
ว่า
is
การขับ
working
เคลื่อ
as
น
a
ใน
food
อนาคต
delivery,
เนี่ย
but she needs
ก็
to
จะ
bring
ดู
her
ในเรื่องของ
child
สถานที่
also
เลี้ยงเด็ก
during their work.
ที่จะ
So
ช่วย
in the
ให้มารดา
future,
สามารถไปทำงานได้นะครับ
that we want
ก็
to support
สไลด์ต่อไป
women
เลยครับ
here, the
ค
expansion
รับ
of
ก็ใน
many
ในส่วนของ
infrastructure like
ส่วน
shared
ที่ขับ
service
เคลื่อน
and
ไป
shared
แล้วค
call
รับก็คง
center
จะเป็น
will be very
บางส่วน เพราะ
important.
ว่าระยะเวลาของบอร์ดประกันสังคมเนี่ยเราจะอยู่ได้แค่ 2 ปี ซึ่ง
The
ตอนนี้
SSS
ผมก็
board
เหลือเวลาอีก 4 เดือนก็จะหมดวาระ
duration
แล้วครับ
is
ก็จะพยายาม
2
ป
years
รับสวัสดิการที่เพิ่มเติมขึ้นให้
per one
ในระหว่าง
team,
4
and
เดือน
then
ที่เหลือ
I
เนี่ยให้แล้ว
only
เสร็จครับ
have 4
ก็
months left with the
ใช้เว
board,
ลา
but then I will try
พอดี
my
ครับ ขอบคุณครับ
best as much as possible to enlarge the benefits as much as possible.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Jaturong Pray Singh. I think there was a question posted on the chat on the chat box for you, but then before we go there, let us go first to the third speaker, and then I will go back to you. I promise to go back to you for this question. Can we share the profile for the third speaker from Indonesia? Okay, so our third speaker this morning in this panel is Dr. Harniati. He is Senior Advisor for the Minister of Human Rights, Ministry of Human Rights of the Republic of Indonesia, Director General on Human Rights Instrument and Human Rights Strengthening last year in 2024, and Director for Human Rights Cooperation for the period of 2023 to 2024. So let us listen to Dr. Harniati, who is Senior Advisor, right? And look at the national level policies on social protection and care economy and maternity protection in Indonesia. So please, you have 10 minutes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Distinguished colleagues, excellencies, and esteemed participants. First of all, let me convey my sincere gratitude to the community, ASEAN Monitor Research Center, Mr. Stuha, and supporting organization who already inviting Indonesia government of Ministry of Human Rights to join this precious webinar. It is an honor for us taking part in the regional webinar Transformative Social Protection Tour, a Caring Community in ASEAN 2045, Maternity Protection and the Care Economy in ASEAN, Policy and Implementation Gap Realities and Social Movement Strategies. Sorry. And this morning, I would like to present my slide on focus on how Indonesian's government, together with the CSO, deal with the theme of the webinar through Indonesia National Action Plan on Human Rights. We call it RANHAM, and business and human rights mechanism. Maybe I can share my presentation. Yes. Yeah. As we know that this is my first slide on the theme on the web seminar. As we know that Indonesian's National Action Plan on Human Rights, or RANHAM, starting from 1998 until now, there are 5 generation
Maaf
national
Ibu,
action of
maaf Ibu,
national action. Ya,
maaf Ibu
ya.
Arniati, boleh diklik di tengah dan kemudian Ctrl L supaya full screen. Diklik di tengah dan kemudian Ctrl L.
Ctrl L sebentar.
Ya. Oh, diklik dulu di tengahnya Ibu. Oh, Ibu tidak
Iya,
pakai, ya,
sudah
Ibu
kan?
tidak pakai ini, tidak pakai PDF. Ternyata pakai browser, nggak bisa Ibu. Ya sudah, silakan dilanjut Ibu, maaf.
Atau bisa dari sana saja? Kemarin sudah saya
Boleh
kirim.
kalau sudah dikirimkan Ibu, sudah dikirimkan ke kami? Karena kami belum terima.
Dari sana saja.
Oh ya, silakan Ibu. Kami tunggu filenya.
Oh, belum terima. Ya, ya, oke, saya lanjut ya. As we know, that the Indonesian National Action Plan on Human Rights started from 1998 until now. There are 5 generation national action plan on human rights already. This is of 5 generation, 2021, 2020 generation, for 2039. And as we know, also of NAC, stipulated by President Regulation number 53 of 2021 of NEP on human rights for 2025. Maybe I can mention that following the National Action Plan on Human Rights, government through Ministry of Human Rights in CSC organization being sanctioned. And we know that actually according to Indonesian laws, talking about the we have certain several laws already, but in case there is another government program who didn't fix yet with the progress of society, this program, the National Action Plan on Human Rights, come to cover it. So The other's goal of the NAP on human rights is acceleration to government program to particular action of regular program. And we have a target on NAP on human rights. The target is for four group, vulnerable group, women, children, people with disabilities, and other indigenous people. In National Action Plan on Human Rights 2024, there are three National Action Plan on Human Rights in 2004 for province, for ministry, and for a municipality or city government. For province, we have 7 action. First, providing business assistance and building business connection partner for women as the head of family of SME, small minimum enterprise. Action 2, we have making review study toward policy and legislation which is discriminate to women. Action 3, performing program toward Indonesian child labor free. Action 4, supporting to achieve quota target accommodation for people with disabilities of human work in government sector, state enterprise, and also private sector. Action 5, providing inclusive education services which accessible for person with disabilities. And Action 6, providing social assistance for person with disabilities. And Action 7 is building transportation facility with accessible for person with disabilities. And next, we can see National Action Plan on Human Rights 2024, agency or municipality, city government. We have SIC also, action, providing business assistance and building business connection partner for women as a head of family of a small minimum enterprise. Action 2, providing legal aid service for women, child, people with disabilities, and other society which conflicted with the law. Action 3, providing inclusive education service with accessible for person with disabilities. Action 4, providing psychology services which full minimum service standard at Health Society Service Center at first level. Action 5, providing social aids for person with disabilities. And Action 6, building transportation facility which accessible for person with disabilities. Action 7, providing inclusive education services with accessible for person with disabilities. And next, we have a NAP for a ministry or institution or agencies in Indonesia. There are 5 action who target women. So Action 1, undiscriminated policy and law and legislation for women in regional and national. Action 2, increasing access for women to our public service and decent living, education, health, and jobs. And Action 3, providing legal aid services, health, social for women who completed with the law. Action 4, remedy effectively for women who conflicted with the law. Action 5, increasing gender sensibility for law apparatus, regional government, and civil society on handling women cases who completed with the law. As I mentioned before that we also deal with this subject through business and human rights mechanism. And we know that according to UN guiding principle on business and human rights, government is obliged to protect individual group from human right violation from third party, including business actor, through policies, regulation, and education. And we have maybe I can mention also the progress of the business and human rights in Indonesia, the milestone starting from 2017 until 2023. We go through government regulation. We have government regulation number 30 of 2023 on business and human rights, and through this regulation, we always involve the CSO through the membership of the regional task force is the CSOs. So we are going to involve of the society in our ministry issues, and we know that there are 3 national strategy of business and human rights, yeah, and one of them is increasing understanding and capacity building promotion of human rights for all stakeholders, including the for CSOs. And maybe we can say also that through business and human rights mechanism, we have a application for the society, for the company who want to register their company to the system of Ministry of Human Rights. We have we call it a Prisma application. It is a voluntary mechanism application, self-risk assessment, website-based application program used by the companies to analyze the risk of the human rights violation caused by business activities. It is as a tool toward due diligence, which was built by the Ministry of Law and Human Rights together with the civil society and the company. And maybe I can show you there are 12 indicators in Prisma application, which company have to comply for the indicators. And then from 12 indicators, there are 4 indicators who concerned with the protection of women's rights. The first is labor. Yeah, labor. We in Prisma indicator there are 55 question that the company have to fulfill the question, including the protest on the protection of the women rights. For the indicators, labor's indicators, women leaders on managerial position, the company have to provide, and pregnant childbirth for women on permanent or contract position and menstrual leave. And indicator discrimination, this indicator mentioned that there are 5 indicator that the company have to fulfill. The first is protection for women work at night, facility for pregnant baby breast having child under 5 years old, and facility for women worker training, promotion for women worker, and policy for preventing social harassment in workplace. And the last is corporate social responsibility, CSR, which have to give a ministry for a woman worker. And as maybe I can say also that in the attachment of the government regulation on business and human rights, there are action that minister and also the government, regional government and agency, city government should fulfill the action. For the ministry institution action, providing guidelines on standard services protection house for women worker in working place. This belongs to Ministry of Women Empowerment and Child Protection. We call it KPPA. And for regional government, there is 2 action. They have to comply, supporting company for formulating and internal policy on women worker protection. And for the second is supporting company for women worker health and productive women. We call it GP2SP belongs to Ministry of Health. So maybe for the last slide, maybe I can conclude that this RANHAM or National Action Plan on Human Rights is we can say that as for the minister 90% is success, and for the regional government or regency or city government as 80 and 70% success. And then I think for our Ministry of Human Rights just established last year in October. Before under Ministry of Human Rights, we have a Ministry of Law and Human Rights, which Director of Human Rights under this ministry and in level echelon 1. So today we are looking for how to cope the problem of human rights issue, and we have a much larger opportunity to cooperate with the CSOs in Indonesia. I think that's all I can explain. Thank you very much for the time.
Rico? Maybe it's a few minutes for Rico.
Yeah.
Uh,
There were some questions posted, but what is your pleasure, Tuha? How do you want?
Yeah, because we don't have much of time, right? You're running out of time or almost. You still have only some minutes more. But anyways, to answer the question, because I see only some question for one
Yeah.
for Coco and one for Zaturong and one for Nin.
Nin, yeah. Two actually for Nin, I think.
Two for Nin and two for Coco, but no, two in one. So maybe
yeah,
you can invite all of them to answer quickly.
Okay, so we'll kind of cut off this question and answer, but very quickly. So shall we include Coco, even if Coco is not in this
It's okay.
panel one? Yeah, it's okay. Okay, so what was the question on Coco? Let me go back to question 4. Well, actually, we also have a question from Mr. Okay, here. So the questions posted here on the chat box for Ms. Coco are: 1, who should provide maternity leave benefit? Is it the state or is it the employer? Second question, what components should be included in the benefit? So maybe Coco can answer that. And is there another question addressed to her? No. The next one is Mr. Jaturong already. So Coco, can you answer first this question?
Sure, thank you. So I answer very quickly. So the maternity leave should be provided by so maternity leave as paid by social insurance should be contributed into by the employer and employee according to a certain percentage of the wages. The government doesn't so much provide it, but the government provides the framework of contributory schemes, and that's where the government is involved. But the payment where the funds come from should be paid from by employees. But at the same time, what some countries and governments do is that they help to subsidize the premiums of the workers, and in the case of, for example, lower income workers, this really helps to incentivize workers to pay into these schemes and become part of these schemes. So governments can be an important part of financing these maternity leave benefits. And it's important, I think, a really important question also because because social protection is formal social protection is part of government framework, mandatory framework of schemes and the legal that are legally guaranteed and through social security organizations. As opposed to informal forms of social protection, which don't necessarily go through the same sort of regulatory and oversight mechanisms. What should be included in the benefit is basically the cash transfer, the benefit, the cash transfer. But in addition to that, as mentioned in my presentation, it's important to note that mothers also need access to additional benefits, social health protection, in accessing healthcare and healthcare benefits during maternity. So
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coco. Very quick question then. Next, thank you for your answers. And very quick question to Mr. Jaturong Pricing. Does the benefit for illness cover not being able to work due to maternity and childbirth in the SSS scheme, I suppose? Can you answer quickly? Is Mr. Jaturong still here?
Hi, Raquel. I asked that question, but I think he answered it in his subsequent slide where he mentioned about benefits for childbirth. So I think the question was answered in his presentation.
Okay, okay. Then we'll go fast to the question posed to Dr. Nin. How can informal workers, organizations, and trade unions be part of the implementation of the ASEAN Care Economy Declaration and Guidance Note, both at national and regional level? Dr. Nin? You're muted. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your very comprehensive questions. I do think first of all, we would like to talk about, because in ASEAN member states, every country had them their own consensus, especially working in the how to throw the policy into the grassroots from the nation into the society. But first of all, I do think it's very important we should seek for the collaboration. For instance, it allows me not difficult because we initiative from the beginning and we try to push it in our social economic development plan as a national level, because we are, and the trade union can be can play a very crucial role. And government union, for example, allow we do have the trade union as the officially that we can collaborate with them. And for the NGOs or for NAP is a non-governmental organizations in the country. It's not difficult to encourage them, just let them know and ask for the collaboration very well and networking with them. We will develop at the same, we will develop strategy of how to say TOR and working together is very good and useful. It is in nationwide and networking among them and accelerate some work and ask them to put in the areas that they work, and we are sharing the papers among ourselves to each other is the very good way. And for the regional, I do think in ASEAN member states, counting from the government and also NGOs, we do have the same paper. So on the accountability that we should work together and sharing hand, we know that on the even the NGOs or GOs in this our region, they are working to protect the rights and benefits of the women and the children to get better and better. We have the same objectives. Why don't we talk and sit together and share our paper among ourselves? Government has a lot of strategy, policies, but the practice is very, very slow. And somehow we should find an indicator or something is very hard. Therefore, I think the best way we should have the networking together and sharing our perspectives and objectives and share our properties among our team.
Okay, Dr. Neil, thank you for that.
Yes.
Thank you for this response. Maybe just one more last question from for Dr. Harniati. Actually, you're talking about, it's good you're talking about the human rights and human rights base, and we're saying that we're looking at social protection, maternity protection from a human rights-based perspective. They are human rights. But then we're looking at the way that you presented, and a lot of talk about, synergy between government and corporations and business sector. And but this the actions that you mentioned, are these really mandated and legit and what do you call it, institutionalized in policy, or are they voluntary? What about what happens when there are violations? Dr. Harniati, please.
Thank you for the question. Yeah, thank you for the question. Because of, as I mentioned before, that because of the business and human rights mechanism, Indonesia still voluntary mechanism. So if there is a company who file on the rights of the women workers, so we can say that we call it score. Will get a red score, and
but is
as
there
we know that voluntary mechanism still under process to be mandatory. Yeah, the scoring. But right now we are underway to promote to be a mandatory mechanism in Indonesia. So that's why for voluntary mechanism already takes around 3 years. So right now we are going to be a mandatory mechanism. So that's why maybe
we look
next
forward
year
to that,
or
that
next
they
2 year
become
will be.
So we look forward to that. They become mandatory. So now we need really to close this panel discussion, because there's another panel discussion very quickly, and also as important as this one, and maybe more important, because then we're looking at the discussion coming from the grassroots perspectives. So I would like to introduce who will be the moderator for the next panel. And can you show the brief profile of Sastro, please? Thank you. So Anwar Sastro Maruf, Sastro to us, is going to be your moderator for the next panel. He is the Secretary General of KPRI, meaning Confederation of Indonesia People Movement, and the Southeast Asia Coordinator of the Asian Roundtable on Social Protection Network. Actually, the one or mainly one of the organizers of this webinar. So he is one of the Indonesia's leading activists in organizations and alliances of workers and other popular movements in Indonesia. Consolidator of the People's Organization, especially of development of trade unions and people's organizations, as well as organizing and campaigning in the field of economic solidarity, campaigner of political and citizen rights, organizing participatory research by the people. His leadership experience on trade unions, political organization, and alliance building started in 1995 when he was still a worker to build independent trade unions from the factory level to the national level. So he's also the regional and international people, I do not see what's down there, movement networks. So please, I hand it over now to Sastro for the next panel discussion.
Okay, thank you, Raquel. Hello, everybody. I think this is a special moment to us about discussion with the maternity protection and the care economy. In this session, I'm to try to moderating in the second panel, the panel about the voice from the ground, I think is very important to us. We just listened to up there several presentation, I think from keynote speaker, also from the resource person and expert and the official responsibility of the respective in the field closely related to our term of the maternity protection. And then in the second panel discussion, voice from the ground, this is we have a serial testimony, including of the sector as well as from the media. The first, we have a speaker from the Philippines, Miss Josephine C. Parila is from the HomeNet Philippines. And the second, we have of the Wahyu Diatmika, also Safon from the from the CCFC. And the next, we also have of the Vicensus Rubon. I think we can go to the first. Sorry. For the first is Josephine, Miss Josephine.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's a good known
okay.
already in the Philippines. So I do not know if why my face cannot
Sorry.
be seen, no? But anyway, can I have my presentation? Can you hear me, Saslo? Saslo, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Can I have my presentation? I sent it to her. Can you have my presentation, please? So,
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I will introduce you. So sorry.
okay, sige.
Yes. Josephine is the leader of the HomeNet International. This is president of HomeNet International, also coordinator of HomeNet in Southeast Asia. Josephine is mother of the 7 children, and so your grandma in the 16. I think this is very important to about the information. Also, the leader of the informal workers in the Philippines. I think this is very important speaker from the HomeNet Philippines. Now, please, you presented, Josephine.
Okay, again, thank you, Sastro, and a good day to everybody. So, just to answer the 3 question, no, for our experience on maternity protection and care economy advocacy. Next, please. Next slide. Okay. I had been already introduced as Omni Philippines. So, can you go to my next slide, please? And next slide, next to her. And then who we are we're member of the Homely Southeast Asia and Homely International. And in as Homely Philippines, we are 30 national and local organization. Next slide. We are 30 organization that basically found mostly in the national capital region. And of course, again, those are the members of the organization. And one of the member of the organization is my community-based organization, which is Patamabawais. Next slide. So my next slide, please. So again, as our sectoral issues, this is has been an issue of the informal workers, statistic, access to productive resources, and social security or social protection. Next slide. Again, another one is how do women face the unpaid care and how we're going to value the Please,
You
Toha.
miss- Okay, because you just yeah. We meet you, right?
Why?
Reverend? Okay, you can you talk?
Yes, but there's a static of my So can I just continue?
Please.
As we are given to answer the following. I think I cannot push our agenda in towards decent work and sustainable development goals, attainment, and the resilience. So we have social protection and climate change adaptation, human development services, asset reform, participation and representation, employment and economic empowerment, where we focus on social solidarity economy and being resilient. So on maternity protection, our strategies and processes are long advocacy work by different women rights organizations, including Patamaba and Home Philippines, inputs of women rights organization on the content of the bill, march to Congress and Senate to pressure legislators to pass, work with allies at Congress and executive branch to be one of the priority legislative agenda of the President, regularly attending and as a resource person during committee deliberation in both houses, Congress and Senate, and put a lot of pressure on the state to implement international maternity protection standards along with the infant, child, and family welfare. On our success and impacts, we had, of course, we have laws passed, such as the Responsible Parenthood and Reproductive Health Law of 2012, and we also have the first 1,000 Days Act of 2018, where the policy to scale up nutrition intervention program in the first 1,000 days of the child's life. And we also have the expanded maternity law of 2019, where which include female workers in the public and private sector, female workers in the informal economy, female workers who are voluntary contributors to the SSS, female national athletes, and from 90 days to 105 days maternity leave and paternity leave of 7 days. And the expanded and continued breastfeeding of 2019 to support, protect, and encourage women who are breastfeeding working mothers, and require workplaces to implement certain regulations, including lactation stations in the informal workplaces. So our recommendation maternity protection are the following: monitor implementation of maternity protection laws, develop a most robust and evidence-based advocacy agenda, engage and encourage fathers to take advantage of paternity and be supportive to their wives and babies, work towards a change in mindset, towards a more positive outlook will see women as partners in development, document, recognize, and replicate good practices by the trade unions, community-based organization in providing reproductive health services to women, provide for a minimum of 14 weeks up to the maximum of 26 weeks maternity cash transfer to enable women in the informal economy to enjoy maternity leave benefits and continue breastfeeding. Support social solidarity economy in the forms of cooperative, social enterprises, to provide gainful employment to women and facilitate their access to maternity and other forms of social protection. And of course, the long campaign of the enactment or passage of the Magna Carta of Workers in the Informal Economy, the present bill, or the Workers in the Informal Economy Act. And on care economy, as we said, we have two, the paid and unpaid. On paid, strategies and processes organize, strengthen social solidarity economy organization, train nano enterprises on SE concept, principles, and strategies, upscaling and upgrading of SSO operation, financial support for startup and facilitate marketing of product produced, accelerating social solidarity economy and SDG implementation. On our success and impacts, we have most of our home-based workers group do have the saving and loan activities. These serve as the revolving funds for livelihood and economic activity. ASEAN, the ASIC and Quezon City LGU, HOMNIC, conducted ACSC training for home-based worker leaders of 6 countries. HOMNIT Philippines is our champion in terms of ACSC policy advocacy, providing funds to ACSC economic activities through urban backyard gardening, community kitchen, and production of organic fertilizer through kitchen waste. HOMNIT Philippines is also a partner of Quezon City LGU on ACSC localization, and part of the business surplus were provided for emergency issues faced by the members during disasters, flood storms, and other calamities. And on enterprises, number of nano industries with sector of production vis-a-vis other enterprises, number of community savings and microfinance group, raw materials, location of markets, LGU program on livelihood and enterprises on ACC, along with women, young, IPs, senior migrants, LGBTQIA, and other that can participate. On the care economy, the unpaid care and domestic work, we did localization of unpaid care and domestic work, which recognizes the 5 Rs, the recognize, reduce, redistribute, reward, and representation at the local level in the province of Rizal, and 10 municipality, and where HOMNIT Philippines started through Oxfam. And recently, we also have a pilot project in the municipality of Taytay with 5 barangay with Oxfam, PKKK, and the municipality of the Taytay, and community women and men trained on UCW as mobilizers and trainers. And we push for local ordinance on unpaid care and domestic work, program, projects, and activities, and their annual investment plan, and PPA's inclusion in their GAD plan and budget. So the success and impacts on this, we already identified local community facilitators as part of the project team implementers, capacitated, mentored, trained, and honed 25 community women leaders, localized UCW with more or less 1,000 men and women, 1 local ordinance already passed at the municipality level, and organized men opposed vow everywhere. On our recommendation, the unpaid care and domestic work, access to reproductive health and maternity services.
Josephine,
Yeah,
Josephine,
just 1 minute.
Can you slow down a little bit, because
Okay, sorry.
catch up very
Access to, anyway, there's a PowerPoint. Access to reproductive health and maternity services, access to accessible child care to enable parents to work, including for children with disability, access to elderly care, lactation management program, existence of community laundry station, community kitchen, and gardens, existence of an ordinance focusing on the 5 Rs of UCDW. All this campaign cannot be done by only few. So we have to work together to attend our vision and to attend our dreams for the mothers of in the workers in the informal economy. Together we can make change happen. Thank you very much. Anyway,
Okay.
my slide is open to everybody.
Thank you, Josephine.
Okay, I just have my 10 minutes.
Thank you, Josephine.
allocation.
I think you very the strong spirit and you very fast presentation. And
Yeah.
I think it's my the problem is from my connection, but this is your spirit. Okay, thank you. In the next, we call Mr. Safun Teng. Hello, Mr. Safun.
Hello.
Mr. Safun is president of the coalition of Cambodian community. Hello, Mr. Safun. Are you ready to presentation?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Okay.
Hello, Mr.
Safun, he is a president of the CCFC, an organization established in 2011 with their 43,000 members in 14 provinces in Cambodia. CCFC focus on advancing inclusive policies and programs that empower rural women in the agri-food sector. Yeah, I think the improving their income security and access to social service. Also the build a relation of livelihood and promote gender equality and across of the region. And so please, Mr. Safam, I think your time is 10 minutes to presentation of their your experience, your strategy, also your idea with the community promoters.
Yeah. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, please.
Thank you, moderator. I cannot see my slide presentation. But on the two questions about the Cambodian social protection for all network advocacy promote social protection, I will say to you about the key point to you. Yeah, you know about the CCFC member by organization. We work with the rural women and the rural youth. So CCFC, the founder of the social protection for all network in Cambodia. I can share you about the SP for all. The SP for all collection by the Cambodian CSO strengthening public understand the social protection into citizen voice reach the government. And the demand side, community labor group, women, youth, and trade union. Strong, we advocate with the government and relevant stakeholder, provide on the service to the working people and the worker in Cambodia, including the informal worker, self-employment, and the formal worker. About the social protection, yes, we are member collection. We on the process we work and strategy promote social protection for informal worker. By we strengthening in capacity the local member and the local association of SP for all, such as we organize the group and the capacity building to worker union and the group of indigenous people and working people in the Cambodia. More action we research and policy gap analysis. Now the SP for all work with to get the CSO in Cambodia and the union. We work on the some of NSSA law, healthcare, quality fund, and social assistance in plus social security, and documentation about the gap of policy to advocate to the government, provide good service and the opportunity, promote on the benefit of people and the worker in Cambodia. And we work on the advocacy and influencing policy by an evidence way on the social of social SP4O in Cambodia. We work close with the other organizations involved in and influencing with to the National Social Protection Council and NSSA and the Ministry of Labor. Through our advocacy, we conduct social dialogue, forum, and campaign, social media campaign. About the action, pilot, and service delivery. The member SP for all, we work on the provide service delivery to the self-employment and the informal worker, such as the worker of self-employment and worker informal worker can start to register with the NSSA to receive equality card and card of members of NSSA to access health care in the free of charge. So we involvement SP for all, we lead on coalition, work with the representative labor, with the government, international and partner technical support, and the local ministry and the private sector. Strong the advocacy and the social dialogue with the government and relevant stakeholder intervention on the social protection framework in the Cambodia. We start the work policy foundation, such as on the now the government in Cambodia released on the social protection framework already. On the social protection framework, focus on the including the self-employment, informal worker, and the formal worker, and health protection. We work on informal worker and the family health benefit, health equity fund, and expand the free access the public health service poor and the vulnerable group. We pilot extension scheme, the national fund. We start work with the informal worker, not the union group and not the register with the company. We start on mobilize on the worker and informal worker directly register with the NSSA. Cash transfer program, you know about the COVID-19. We provide social assistance like material and other to householder showing an ability and awareness inclusion. Now we start on the working with CSO member. Now certified 2 CSO in Cambodia. Work together addressing on the social protection gap to influencing to the community and mobilize on the worker, raise on the concern, submit to the government and the Ministry of Labor and National Social Protection Council. Impact the informal worker community. Now we improve and access to healthcare for poor and vulnerable householder. Initiative step toward legal recognize informal worker and the social protection scheme. You know about the based on ILO convention, rural worker and agri-food sector in Cambodia cannot recognize to informal worker, but now the Ministry of Labor already recognize on this group to the informal worker. They can access the social protection schemes such as social assistance and social security. So, but now the national NSSA in Cambodia pilot vulnerable group on the access to social protection and healthcare. This is on the work in Cambodia. So about I think that about what we not been achievement. You know about the underfunding and social ability concern. You know about the system how external donor funding, particular ID pool and the long-term financial, and inadequate and protection for vulnerable group with our Ministry of Capacity. This we cannot achieve because Cambodia started on the work, the social protection improve about the scheme. It provide the benefit to the government and limit coverage across population. You know about more people in Cambodia stay in rural area and the more worker part of informal worker because such and the agri-food sector worker and the small restaurant and the worker on the board tuk-tuk driver and the street vendor and they are part of informal sector, but worker the problem worker contribution membership limitation about the poor income generation. The worker in Cambodia cannot understand the membership contribution. It is very not been achieved. Yes, this about the recommendation. I think that we got to more working recommendation in the ASEAN and the social protection. We hope our ASEAN and the income and the government in Cambodia expand the coverage informal and the low income worker. And two, we strengthen worker contribute and membership system. And three, improve financial sustainability. And four, consolidate and integrate the social protection scheme. And six, we build a responsive adaptation social protection system. And seven, leverage ASEAN regional and corporate support. I think that this Cambodia the similar issue on the South Asian, such as Philippines, Indonesia, and Burma and Malaysia, should be work together, share experience, and pushing on the social protection scheme for promote the informal worker, self-employment, and formal worker in Cambodia, because the growing on the thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shafan. I think very interesting of your presentation about their informal worker, also in the agri-food sector, and I think also in the rural. This is important to us. And the next we have up the speaker from Urban Poor People Struggle Union, SPRI, from Indonesia. We have Mr. Vincentus Rubon. Hello, Rubon. He is as Vice of National Secretary of the SPRI, Indonesian Poor People Struggle Union. Mr. Rubon has been active in the urban poor movement since the 2006. He is active in organizing, also advocacy and campaign for the right of the urban poor, such as right to health, I think, like of the hospital right. This is very, very famous in the maybe 5 years ago, and also the advocacy of the education to the poor people, and with the PKH. PKH is conditional cash transfer. Also the environment in the sanitation, I think it's still running until now. In the last 4 years, collective organizing of the advocacy and campaign using of the participatory research method, I think is important to about the experience of the SPRI, Comrade Rubon and the friend. And please, Rubon, you can presentation of your experience in the advocacy and campaign on social protection and social security for the poor people. Hello, Rubon, are you ready?
Okay.
Hello, maybe you can using of bahasa is no problem.
Selamat pagi semua untuk rekan-rekan seperjuangan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Pertama-tama saya mengucapkan terima kasih kepada moderator dan kepada panitia yang sudah memberikan kesempatan saya mewakili SPRI untuk hadir dalam pertemuan online pada pagi hari ini. Puji dan syukur saya ucapkan kepada Tuhan Yang Maha Esa, melalui pertemuan ini kita semua dapat berkumpul dalam pertemuan di hari ini. Sebelum saya memulai mempresentasikan profil organisasi serta pengalaman advokasi perjuangan, saya ingin meminta kepada Ibu, Bapak, serta rekan-rekan sekalian yang ada di forum ini untuk sejenak kita berdoa untuk sahabat kita kawan Dika Muhammad yang telah meninggal pada 5 Agustus yang lalu.
May we check
Kita berdoa
Indonesian English
sejenak. Saya
translation a
bisa
bit?
minta waktunya dalam forum ini. Kita berdoa, mulai.
I think you have to select the Indonesian channel.
Selesai. Terima kasih. Bapak, Ibu, dan saudara-saudari serta panitia. Dalam kesempatan forum ini,
You have to select
saya
English. Interpreter, you select
mewakili
English,
almarhum
and
kawan
then
Dika yang
you
seharusnya dia
speak
hadir
to
dalam forum ini.
channel.
Dan saya,
Oke, lanjut.
Ya.
I'm speaking in
Oke.
English, right?
Bapak, Ibu,
Oke,
dan
ya, you speak in
Ladies
English.
and gentlemen,
yang saya hormati di dalam forum ini.
respected in
Perkenalkan,
this
nama saya
webinar, let me
Vincentius
introduce
Balalajar, atau
myself.
teman-teman biasa
I am
memanggil saya
Vincentius.
Rubon.
Rubon, sebentar Rubon.
Ya,
Ya, silakan lanjut Rubon.
Okay.
Oke.
Or you can call me just Rubon.
Oke. Bapak, Ibu, dan rekan-rekan
Ladies and
organisasi
gentlemen
yang saya
and respected
hormati,
fellow
dalam forum
organization,
ini
in this
saya
forum, I would like
mewakili
to represent
SPRI dan saya
SPRI,
sebagai
and I
Wakil
am
Sekretaris Nasional
as the
SPRI yang saat
National
ini
Vice
menjabat
Secretary
tahun 2022 sampai
starting
2027.
from 2020
Bapak, Ibu,
up to
serta rekan-rekan
27.
sekalian.
Fellow
Di sini saya akan
participant,
menjelaskan
I
tentang
would like to
profil
explain
organisasi serta
our
pengalaman
organization
advokasi
profile
perjuangan.
and our advocacy experience.
Serikat Perjuangan Rakyat Indonesia atau
SPRI
SPRI
didirikan
berdiri
SPRI
sejak
founded in
tahun 2004,
yang
di
didirikan pada
mana
tahun
pada saat itu
2004.
terjadi gejolak pasca reformasi
At that
98.
time it was
Di tengah kesulitan ekonomi
1998
yang sangat sulit
turbulence,
dan
and
terdampak
at that
bagi
time
masyarakat miskin
very
perkotaan.
impact to the
SPRI berangkat
urban poor community.
dari korban-korban
SPRI actively
penggusuran ataupun
engaged
korban-korban ketidakadilan dari pemerintah pusat ataupun pemerintah daerah.
impartiality from government, both center government and local government. Dimulai, Pak.
Oke, lanjut. Bapak Ibu, mohon maaf. Kesalahan teknis.
Oke,
Oke.
fellow
Secara singkat
participant,
SPRI berdiri pada tahun
SPRI, as I mentioned
2004,
before,
di
is
mana pada saat
established in
itu timbul
2004,
keresahan
while at that time
ekonomi di tengah
happening an
pasca
economy
reformasi.
upheaval in Indonesia in the middle of
SPRI
reformation
lahir dari
age.
kalangan akar rumput.
SPRI comes from
SPRI
the
aktif
grassroots
juga
level.
melakukan advokasi
SPRI
kebijakan
also
pelayanan publik
advocate
dari
public
korban-korban
service
penggusuran
from
ataupun
the
korban-korban penggusuran pedagang kaki lima
from
ataupun
the
problem-problem
effection of the
permasalahan
government
terhadap
policies
rakyat miskin.
within land clearing,
Selain itu juga SPRI juga aktif
street food
melakukan
stall,
advokasi
and
kebijakan
also
pelayanan publik
SPRI
serta mempromosikan
doing
akuntabilitas, transparansi dan
and
partisipasi warga
transparency,
dalam
accountability
pemerintahan.
within government.
Program kerja Serikat Perjuangan Rakyat Indonesia atau
The history
SPRI
of
adalah
SPRI
melakukan advokasi
is
kebijakan.
also doing
Kedua,
policy
SPRI juga dalam
advocacy,
program kerja
is
melakukan
also engaged in
pendampingan akses
policy
terhadap pelayanan
advocacy
publik seperti
for the
pendidikan,
public service,
kesehatan, administrasi
education,
kependudukan, dan lainnya.
accountability, transparency, and
Ketiga,
citizen
dalam program
participation
kerja
in
SPRI,
governance.
SPRI juga melakukan pendampingan bantuan hukum bagi kaum marginal
SPRI
atau
also
masyarakat
having
miskin
a legal aid
yang
for the
terkendala
urban
oleh
poor
pendampingan hukum.
that have a
Contohnya
problem in
seperti
low
para
assistance.
pengamen
For
yang ditangkap
instance,
oleh
for the
Satpol
street
PP
singer that is being
ataupun para pencari rezeki di pinggir
coached
jalan
by the
yang sedang berjualan.
local government
Serta
or
SPRI
street or
juga
food vendor.
melakukan pembangunan
We
kapasitas
also
rakyat
assisted
seperti
them in a
pelatihan,
low
diskusi, serta
protection.
rapat-rapat.
We also conducted series of trainings and workshop in
Ketiga,
advocacy.
dari proses
The third,
program kerja,
for the
langkah dan strategi
our
SPRI dalam bidang kesehatan
program work in
pada
health
tahun 2006 sampai
in
2011,
2006
SPRI yang waktu
until
itu masih bernama
2011.
Serikat Rakyat Miskin Indonesia
At that time,
membentuk sebuah
it was
posko
an
pengaduan
SPRI.
dan pengawasan
We also
surat
collect
keterangan
the
tidak mampu atau
incoming
SKTM
voices
serta
such as
keluarga miskin atau GAKIN
the
dan
letter of
asuransi
poor
kesehatan rakyat
status
miskin.
from the
Posko tersebut juga
poor urban
menampung
community.
pengaduan bagi rakyat
Our
miskin
center
yang
also
ditolak di rumah sakit.
receiving complaint
Posko ini
about
didirikan di kampung-kampung
unattained
basis SPRI
service
di
public
kelurahan di DKI
healthcare
Jakarta.
from the poor people
Selain proses dan
within
strategi
Jakarta.
advokasi perjuangan, dalam bidang perbaikan gizi dan pangan. Pada
We
tahun
also work at the
2007-2008,
nutrition improvement
SPRI
in
berkampanye soal
2007 and
isu gizi buruk.
2008. We also
SPRI meminta
launch
untuk
and
pemerintah
ask
mendorong agar segera
government
membuat program
to
perbaikan gizi
endorse
untuk 200.000
nutritional
warga miskin di
policies
kantong-kantong organisasi atau
for
basis-basis SPRI.
200,000 poor residents
Dalam
across
aspek pemukiman,
Indonesia.
sejak berdirinya
In the
SPRI
housing aspect,
selalu memperjuangkan hak rumah susun
SPRI
bagi
always
warga korban penggusuran.
propose the
Karena sebelumnya warga yang
affordable
tergusur hanya
apartment,
diberikan ruang,
or we call
hanya
low
diberikan
cost
uang kerohiman dengan jumlah yang sangat
home
kecil
living,
dan kemudian kehidupan ekonominya semakin sulit.
and then also as
Di
the
tahun
income, low
2016,
income,
di pemukiman masyarakat miskin, tepatnya di kolong tol penjaringan tol Wiyoto Wiono,
especially in the Jakarta Utara under
anggota
toll
SPRI
road,
atau warga miskin di kolong tol mendapat
the
ancaman
community
penggusuran dari
from
pemerintah
SPRI
Provinsi DKI
got
Jakarta.
the
Dalam merespon hal tersebut,
eviction from
SPRI
the local
mengumpulkan massa
government.
dan menggelar
To
Kongres
respond that,
Rakyat
we
Lawan Penggusuran untuk
conducted
mempertahankan hak
a
rumah bertempat
people
tinggal.
congress
Pada tahun
against
2025, saat
government
ini,
eviction
SPRI
under
bersama
the
warga
toll road
rumah susun
in North
Persaki,
Jakarta.
korban penggusuran kebijakan Pemda DKI, juga
The
melakukan
IDPs
konsolidasi
or
dan
the
aksi bersama
survivor from
untuk
the government,
memperjuangkan
local government
pembebasan biaya tunggakan rumah
eviction,
susun tersebut.
we demand low
Dalam
income
bidang perlindungan
apartment.
sosial,
In social protection,
pada tahun 2020-2022,
in the year of
SPRI
2022,
aktif melakukan advokasi program
SPRI
perlindungan
actively
sosial
advocate
untuk masyarakat
social
miskin.
protection for the poor
SPRI
urban
bersama
community.
Koalisi Reformasi Perlindungan Sosial
SPRI
terlibat
with
aktif
reformation
berstrategi berupa
coalition,
audit sosial, melakukan monitoring,
we
distribusi
conduct
bansos,
social
serta melakukan
audit
advokasi kasus terhadap penerima manfaat yang
and
kartunya kosong atau tidak mendapatkan uang dari pemerintah.
audit
Dan
on
SPRI
the
juga
absence
menyusun
of
konsep
cash
atau
transfers to the
rekomendasi kebijakan
community
juga
that is member
pada
of
kegiatan
SPRI.
pendampingan keluarga miskin
We
agar bisa
also
mengakses
assisted
bantuan
families
sosial
of
seperti PKH,
urban
program keluarga
communities,
harapan,
such as
bantuan
cash
pangan non tunai
transference
atau
for the
BPNT, serta
sovereignty of
program Indonesia
pure
Pintar
community, Smart
dan
Indonesia,
akte kelahiran atau administrasi
and
kependudukan.
also the birth certificate for the
Aspek
poor
sanitasi,
community
SPRI saat
people.
ini sedang melakukan pendataan sanitasi di
SPRI
wilayah
is
miskin
also
kota
conducting
khususnya di Jakarta Barat.
sanitation survey in West Jakarta
SPRI
that
berkolaborasi dengan Koalisi
collaborate
Prima,
with Prima,
dengan pemerintah wali kota Jakarta Barat,
with
Kesbangpol
the
Jakarta Barat,
Mayor's
serta
Office
5 kelurahan
West
wilayah Jakarta Barat,
Jakarta and
yaitu Kelurahan
5
Tomang, Kelurahan
sub-district head
Jatituo, Kelurahan
Tomang
Kapuk, Kelurahan Kedoya Utara, dan Kelurahan
to
Keagungan.
document inadequate sanitation.
Dari hasil pendataan sanitasi ditemukan ada sebanyak 1.026
There are
warga miskin di DKI Jakarta
1,020
yang belum
people
memiliki
in
sanitasi yang layak
Jakarta
dalam
City
urusan
that is
buang air
not
besar
haven't
sembarangan.
granted an adequate sanitation
Manfaat,
services.
keberhasilan, serta dampak yang dirasakan oleh warga miskin.
The impact of our effort to the
SPRI
urban community,
mendapatkan akses kerjasama dengan
we got the
Pemda
access
DKI Jakarta
to the
dalam melayani
provincial
pembuatan akte
DKI of
kelahiran
Jakarta
dan
in the
pendistribusian
making of
kartu
birth
jaminan
certificate
pemeliharaan
and
kesehatan keluarga
also
miskin atau
the
JPK
release
Garkin.
of
Rakyat miskin bisa diterima
social
di
protection
rumah
in
sakit
Jakarta
setelah
level, or
mendapat
we call it
pendampingan
JAKI,
advokasi dari
after
SPRI.
this is happening after a series
Aspek
of
perbaikan gizi
advocacy
dan
of
pangan. Di tahun
SPRI.
2009,
In the
Kementerian
year of
Kesehatan
2009,
menyetujui
in the
adanya
level of
alokasi
nutrition
anggaran untuk
improvement,
pengentasan gizi buruk.
Ministry Health approve a budget
Tindak lanjutnya adalah
for
penyelenggaraan kegiatan
compelling
posko perbaikan gizi masyarakat
malnutrition
miskin di
cases
16 kelurahan di DKI Jakarta
in
yang
16
didanai
sub-district
menggunakan anggaran
within
pendapatan belanja
provincial of
nasional.
Jakarta.
Adapun bentuk kegiatannya adalah
And this
dengan
is funded by the
memberikan
budget from
bantuan
national
makanan
state.
gratis bergizi
And
setiap hari
also
Jumat
we
selama
provided
2 bulan.
the result of our impact is
Dalam aspek pemukiman,
free nutrition
sejak
every
Pilkada DKI
Friday
Jakarta
for 2
2012,
months.
penggusuran rakyat miskin selalu disertai
The eviction
dengan
for
relokasi warga miskin ke rumah
poor
susun
people
atau
in
rusunawa.
2012
Walaupun pada perkembangannya sering ditemui masalah baru, yaitu banyak warga miskin
We eventually
yang
able
kesulitan
to
mencari nafkah
housing them
akibat
in proper
kehilangan sumber mata
housing
pencarian
as
atau
accordance
biaya
to the
pencarian
poor
kerjanya
community
menjadi jauh, serta
condition,
warga miskin tidak mampu atau membayar sewa rusunawa.
so that we also
Pemukiman
propose
masyarakat miskin
low
hasil advokasi
payment
SPRI di
for the
kolong tol
housing.
penjaringan Wiyoto sampai hari ini pun tetap berdiri. Begitu juga dengan warga
And
Dusun
the community
Persati
under the
yang
bridge
sampai
of
saat
the
ini
toll road
masih terus
in
memperjuangkan haknya
North
untuk
Jakarta
mendapatkan
is still going on.
pembebasan biaya tunggakan rumah susun. Dalam aspek perlindungan sosial, pada
In the
tahun
social
2020,
protection aspect in
Rubon bisa
2020,
dipercepat, Rubon, waktu Anda habis. Bisa
dalam
dipercepat.
aspek perlindungan sosial di tahun 2020 sebanyak
social protection
955 keluarga
aspect
miskin mendapat bantuan
for
PSBB pada saat COVID.
in
Sebanyak
COVID, during
431 keluarga
COVID-19,
penerima manfaat
there are certain
yang saldonya kosong atau
beneficiaries
tidak
got
bisa
the
dicairkan berhasil diadvokasi.
their right
SPRI juga
for
melakukan
transferring
audit
cash
sosial
and
atau
others
monitoring
related
dan menemukan
social
sebanyak
protection benefits.
2.776 keluarga yang dinyatakan layak mendapatkan program PKH dari
And we
pemerintah pusat.
also
Adapun
try
dasar
our
hukumnya
best to find
adalah
another
Peraturan Pusat Nomor
beneficiaries
1 tahun
that
2020
that
tentang
were
penanganan
not
COVID-19,
coverage by
antisipasi
the
terhadap sistem keuangan,
policy of
stimulus ekonomi
protection
untuk usaha mikro,
national
kecil,
protection
menengah, dan
of
koperasi
Indonesia.
serta bantuan sosial. Di
And
tahun
also
2021,
in the year
sebanyak
of
221 siswa
2021,
miskin berhasil diperjuangkan oleh SPRI
we are
untuk
able
mendapatkan program
also
Indonesia
to
Pintar.
fulfill the
Serta di tahun
educational
2021,
absence
SPRI
for the
melakukan audit
students
sosial
that is
dan
get
mendapatkan
the
data sebanyak 5.768
financial
keluarga
aid
miskin yang
and
layak
also
PKH.
social audit for
Masih
certain
dalam aspek perlindungan
poor
sosial,
families
di
that
tahun
is
2000
eligible for cash
di tahun
transference.
2021
It's about
sebanyak 971 penerima KPM
5,768.
atau KPKH atau BPNT yang saldonya kosong berhasil diadvokasi. 20.000 warga miskin juga mendapatkan akte kelahiran gratis berhasil diadvokasi oleh SPRI melalui Pemda
In the
DKI.
following year,
Siswa miskin dengan
2022
ijazah yang
and
ditahan oleh sekolah
2023,
juga berhasil
SPRI
diadvokasi oleh SPRI
successfully
serta layanan kesehatan. SPRI
impacting
juga
the
bersama
advocacy to the
Pemuda DKI
government and
Jakarta
resulting
berhasil
the basis
menambahkan info akses
statistical
lowongan pekerjaan aplikasi
in
Jaki yang saat ini
rural
digunakan oleh pemerintah DKI.
rural society that
Di tahun 2023,
endorsing the
SPRI
bills
berhasil
process that
membuka
is
periode
law of
pendaftaran DTKS 4 kali
how to
dalam
handle
1 tahun
poverty
yang sebelumnya oleh
and
pemerintah pusat
to the
hanya
level of
dilakukan 1
ministerial.
kali dalam
I
setahun.
think that's all I can
Pada
conclude.
tahun 2004,
Rubon, waktu Anda habis. Oke.
Oke, terima kasih demikian. Mohon maaf apabila
So
ada
sorry
kesalahan.
for the
Terima
mistake I
kasih
made.
telah
Thank you
diberikan
very much
kesempatan.
for the chance given.
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Peace be upon to you all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Terima kasih. Thank you, Mr. Rubon. I think it's very important your presentation and the participant you can write in the presentation from the Rubon, but we have about not enough time to the presentation. And the next we have up the last panelist. Yeah, I call Mr. Wahyu Diatmika. Hello, Mr. Wahyu Diatmika. Are you there?
Yes. Hai, Mas Sastro.
Oke, terima kasih. The last speaker is Mr. Wahyu Diatmika is from the Tempo Media. He is Chief Executive Officer of the Tempo Digital. He also chairperson of the Indonesia Cyber Media Association, AMSI. Yeah, I think Wahyu Diatmika is very important activist from the journalists in Indonesia, also in the Southeast Asia, I think. And Mr. Wahyu will presentation of how collaboration to promote social protection and solidarity economy. I think not only with media, but also with the CSO, also the government and more stakeholder. Okay, please, your time, Mr. Wahyu. Your time is, I think, is 10 minutes. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mas Sastro. Good morning, everyone, friends, colleagues from the region. It's really an honor to be here and to share some of our plan moving forward around the social care and social and solidarity economy. The initiative itself was also initiated by Mas Sastro himself when we returned from the ASEAN People's Forum in Kuala Lumpur a few months ago. There was a meeting at the forum about social solidarity economy, and we had a very intense discussion afterwards. And then Mas Sastro came to our office at Tempo in Jakarta with the KPRI team, and we then started to crafted the idea to really try to mainstream the SSE concept for the Indonesian audience. So I think that's a bit of a background just to keep you updated about why suddenly a journalist come to this forum. And I hope this experiment between social activists and the media that we try to do in Indonesia can also be replicated elsewhere. Yeah, so next slide, please. We at Tempo, I think it's really important. We realize the importance of mainstreaming the concept because the value of an independent like us, of course, is the same as independent media everywhere across the region. Is we want to uphold democracy, transparency, and accountability. And the concept of social protection and SSE is directly linked to that very idea. We all realize that our economy systems are broken. We have seen a lot of discontent in Indonesia. You can witness the big protests last August was also linked to the widening of income inequality in Indonesia. So we need to address this issue by reducing that inequality and hope that we will then solve one of the basic issues in Indonesia. And I'm sure a lot of you are also familiar with the cases in Indonesia. The economy is still really dependent on commodities, mining, and palm oil, with very weak labor protection and weak safety nets. So having this concept understood by the policymakers and important change makers in the society will really help address this situation. And there's a lot of models in Indonesia, cooperative, community enterprises, which are rooted in our local tradition of gotong royong, working together as a community, which can be found in many places in Indonesia. So we believe that it will not be too difficult to introduce this concept to Indonesian audience. And also the global perspective are also important. We have seen a lot of UN-related bodies, OECD frameworks, have also started discussing this concept since 2 or 3 years ago. So bringing that debate to Indonesia, I think is really important. Next. So what is the strategy? We had a discussion, as I said, with KPRI and Mas Sastro and his team. We are planning to do several events and media publication. Of course, we want to uphold multi-stakeholder journalism because it is a public issue. There is a lot of collaboration with different civil society that can be organized around this issue. So one of the plan is to create a regular column, like a weekly opinion op-ed article written by social activists from Indonesia, published in Tempo in my media, so that there will trigger conversation around this topic. Of course, the data and the narrative are from the civil society, but the editorial independence of Tempo is also still preserved. And then the other idea is to do community engagement, start using constructive journalism perspective, build community, build conversation, build discussion around this issue, amplify good practices, best practices around grassroots. As I mentioned, we already have a lot of cooperative, village-owned enterprises, women saving group or arisan in many places in Indonesia that already implemented the concept of social and solidarity economy, but not yet given the spotlight. It's not given the right or the proper exposure in the media. We also plan to do policy dialogue and facilitate discussion with academics and other economic think tank in Indonesia. A lot of discussions around this can be done. We can organize roundtables, webinars, and other format to really bring this issue to the forefront of the Indonesian thinking around economy. And that will also create a depth of public knowledge so that people can access and participate in that discussion. For the digital audience, of course, there are plenty of opportunities. We can reformat all of that content into interactive explainers, podcasts, videos, targeting younger audience. And we want to reframe social and solidarity economy as the future of work and economy to create a balanced narrative to counter the mainstream economic policies in Indonesia that already evidently bring a lot of increasing inequality and a lot of social unrest. Next. So moving forward, these are also a couple of steps that we need to take within the media community themselves. I think we need to reframe the discussions around social and solidarity economy, not as charity, but it is social protection and a right-based solution for a lot of our social issues. To do that, we need to really focus on evidence-driven storytelling. So we need to integrate the field data from civil society and activist organization, academic research, and bring the real facts on the ground, integrate that with data to create a more strong narrative for this topic. We need to also build a wider and more inclusive coalition with more media involved. As Mas Sastro mentioned, I'm also the chairman of Indonesian Cyber Media Association. We have around 500 online media in our membership across the country. And I think that will be a good network that we can also engage with in order to bring this topic forward. For capacity building, I believe we need to also do some training because this is also a new issue for many journalists and editors in Indonesia. So we can do a lot of training and workshop to make sure that the media, the wider media network can also be part of this conversation. For global local linkage, we propose that we connect Indonesian stories to the global movement. Of course, you guys are also part of that regional network, but there's also other network that we can engage with to make sure that we are aligned at the advocacy level. I think that's it that I want to share. I'm happy to entertain if there's questions or recommendation. Thank you, Mas Astro.
Oke, terima kasih Bung Wahyu. I think this is a very inspiring presentation. and you pass 10 minutes, I think. This is very inspiring of their presentation, and we can follow up, I think, with joy the advocacy and campaign about their social protection, maternity protection, also solidarity economy. In this session, I think we have 4 panelists, and the outstanding of the presentation. This is very important. And the next is there will be question and answer. I think I invite of anyone to ask question.
Berikan
To
kemudahan
ask question. I think we have up
kepada
there 15
pembentukan
minutes to
koperasi.
QA. Okay, please.
Pertanyaan gimana? Raise
I
hand,
check the
raise
question in
hand.
the chat. Is there any question in the chat?
Oh, okay.
Ada pertanyaan enggak? Ayo, Pak. Kemudahan.
This is
Pak Sastro,
yes.
we have the question.
Yeah, please.
Ya, bahasa Indonesia. Mbak Rianti minta tolong.
Yeah, please.
Assalamualaikum, selamat siang semuanya.
Silakan Ibu.
Ya kencang suaranya. Sini dekat.
Assalamualaikum,
Ya.
selamat siang semuanya. Saya ingin bertanya kepada Pak Wahyu, bagaimana upaya pemerintah memberikan kemudahan bagi koperasi-koperasi yang dibentuk oleh pekerja-pekerja rumahan. Jadi kami ingin tahu akses yang mudah untuk legalisasi bagi koperasi kami yang baru dibentuk dari ibu-ibu pekerja rumahan. Terima kasih. Selamat siang.
Okay. I think this question is not only to the Mr. Wahyu. I think also Ruben can also answer about the cooperative problem with the government. Jadi cooperative in their women workers, informal workers. I think it's important. But yeah, please, Bung Wahyu.
Yeah, thank you, Mas Sastro. Do I answer in Indonesia or in English? I think the question is in Indonesian, right?
Yes.
Ya, makasih banyak Bu Titin atas pertanyaannya. Saya kira memang banyak sekali banyak sekali problem ya seputar upaya kita untuk meregister teman-teman yang bergerak di ekonomi informal. Dan padahal saya kira itu salah satu kekuatan ekonomi kita adalah kemampuan untuk swadaya, untuk berdikari ya, untuk mandiri di level akar rumput. Tapi memang saat ini belum banyak pengakuan dari negara. Pengakuan aja susah, apalagi support ya. Karena itu yang akan kita lakukan, saya kira sebagai media adalah mencoba mendorong agar cerita-cerita dari upaya-upaya ibu dan teman-teman di akar rumput ini kemudian bisa sampai ke para pengambil kebijakan. Dan sebaliknya juga mungkin ada bottleneck ya, ada banyak isu-isu tentang kebijakan, tentang support yang tidak sampai ke bawah, yang mungkin sebetulnya bisa dijembatani oleh media. Karena kami punya akses ke kebijakan-kebijakan yang disediakan pemerintah untuk warganya. Jadi mungkin itu yang bisa kami lakukan ke depan.
Ruben, mau menambahkan jawaban dari Pak Wahyu? Halo Ruben. Apakah Anda mau menambahkan yang dijawab oleh Pak Wahyu?
Ya, Pak Saptro, maaf, saya tadi di belakang. Halo, mungkin bisa diulang?
Ya, tadi pertanyaannya adalah bagaimana upaya pemerintah terhadap koperasi-koperasi untuk pekerja informal dan juga untuk rakyat miskin.
Oke.
Level.
Pengalaman SPRI dalam bentuk koperasi yang diberikan oleh
SPRI
pemerintah pusat ataupun
experience
pemerintah daerah
that is
sampai saat
derived
ini
from central
kami
and
belum
local
punya pengalaman tentang
government.
itu ya, tentang koperasi.
We haven't had the
Mungkin
experience yet about
nanti
this.
bisa di-share oleh teman-teman
Maybe
organisasi lain yang
it
sekiranya
can be
pernah
shared by
terlibat
other
dalam koperasi
organization
agar
that's
kita bisa
already
bertukar
involved
pikiran agar
with that
koperasi itu juga bisa
activities
dikembangkan di
that is
organisasi kami di SPRI.
cooperative that
Untuk
can
koperasi
be
jujur
developed
SPRI belum pernah terlibat gitu ya
in grassroots.
dalam hal
Frankly
soal
speaking,
koperasi. Seperti itu, Pak
SPRI
Sastro.
hasn't reached that area. That's
Oke.
all I can say, Mr. Sastro.
Oke, terima kasih, Ruben. The next question. I don't know maybe in the chat. Hello? If not any, I think, yeah, we can finish. We can close in the session. I think thank you very much to the four panelists, Bung Wahyu, Rubon, Safon, also Miss Josephine. Maybe we can continue of our meeting in the online or offline. The very interesting of our discussion. And the next, I think I offer to Mabel.
Thank you, Sastro. We have very rich presentation as lots of speakers have already participate and speak and share their experience with us in the last two panel. And then we will have another sections on our statement. And we will have Aura to speak on these sections. So Aura is actually Aura Sevilla is the development specialist with 12 years of experience focused on advancing aging, gender, and social protection policies. A dedicated feminist and expert in social protection, she gathers evidence, provides technical guidance to governments, strengthen networks, and empower workers and people's organizations for institutional change at national, regional, and international levels. Yeah, we have a lot of support from Aura in the last few years, especially on social protections and this campaign on the maternity protection. Her expertise lies in gender responsive life course approaches to social protection and care service with a focus on the intersections of gender, aging, and informal employment. Presently, Aura serves as an advisor for Southeast Asia and older workers at women in informal employment, like globalizing and organizing, like legal, where she continues to drive impactful changes. So Aura, please, for you.
Thank you, Mabel. Just would like to share my screen. It's a pleasure to be here and to co-organize this event. And we know that we cannot talk about care economy without talking about informal employment. So I'm glad that it was pretty covered in all our presentations and our discussions. But this, I would like to share the regional statement that was developed through a lot of consultations and also discussions with various organizations in the region. We started doing these consultations as early as last year when AROS also led a study on maternity protection, both in South Asia and also Southeast Asia. And then we conducted a People's Forum and side event during the Malaysia ASEAN People's ASEAN People's in May, and then also have substantive consultations right afterwards with different organizations, including trade unions, such as the ASEAN Trade Union Council. So among the other organizations that you can see at the bottom of the screen, these are our statements that we would like to deliver and also recommend to the ASEAN member states. So allow me just to give you the highlights, and also hopefully that this regional statement is that the government will listen to our recommendations. So without further ado, we have 6 recommendations. So one main recommendation we have is that we should recognize, ASEAN member states should recognize that care services, social protection, and safety protection as fundamental rights of all workers. So this includes both formal and informal workers, and also including refugees, indigenous people, stateless individuals, migrants, workers in the informal economy without exception and discrimination, and guarantee that workers and their organizations can engage in dialogue and negotiation to monitor and advance care-related rights at workplace and at policy level. What do we mean by this and how this can be achieved? Number one, we need to recognize the ILO recommendation that quality, accessible, and adaptable and acceptable care services should be available to all workers in order for them to participate in the labor market. We also think and push for the government to adopt a life cycle and universal approach, meaning from womb to tomb, everyone should be covered by different care services that caters to the different life phases of all workers. And when we say universal, like Tu has mentioned, meaning it's regardless of the socioeconomic status, of age and gender, but everyone should be covered. We also push for universal tax finance scheme. So this is the basic floor that we are pushing, that it should be non-contributory or should be covered by the tax. We also push that that it is important for the government to engage civil society and trade unions in particular in policy making, and that we should ensure that the freedom of association and expression and collective bargaining are respected, especially for the workers in the informal economy, such as the self-employed. The second recommendation that we have is we urge the ASEAN member states to extend maternity protection to workers in the informal employment, particularly the self-employed. We know during the presentation that a lot of maternity protection in the region is designed for formal workers and also financed by, and also the lead financing is through employer liability. But the question is, how about those who do not have employee-employer relationship or not in the standard form of employment, such as the self-employed? So we urge ASEAN member states to extend the coverage, particularly to self-employed, and ratify ILO Convention 183 on maternity protection and ensure transition measures consistent with the ILO Recommendation 204 covering informal, self-employed, and nowadays the platform workers. What do we mean by this? We want to have quality and available maternity facilities, not just in the city, but also in far-flung places and in mountainous places. We also urge the government to modernize the current social security system and make it inclusive so that informal workers such as self-employed will be able to access maternity benefits under the social security system. Next, we also want government to provide free and heavily subsidized childcare services. This allows self-employed to be able to take care of their children while they are still recovering from giving birth. And lastly, adapting pathways for informal and self-employed platform workers to access maternity protection and social protection floor. The third we would like to recommend is that the third one is to expand the quality of childcare, child allowances, or family benefits for all workers. And this should be financed by the national budget through progressive taxation, meaning the wealthy people should be taxed more and the poor should have lower taxes. That's what we mean by progressive taxation. And it should also be by fair employer contributions, that we should push the employer to give their part. Okay, so how can we do this, or what are the specific things that we are demanding? One, we need to provide quality public childcare services for women in informal employment located either near to their houses for those who are home-based workers, and also near the workplace. So if there are street vendors, there should be a childcare center near their place so that they could not put their children in danger while they are trying to earn a living. Then the second, we need to empower people's participation in policy dialogue and collective bargaining and other platforms to design childcare schemes and family benefits. And lastly, we need to incorporate child allowances or family benefits and paid childcare-related leave into the universal social protection framework. So this should be also covering those who are self-employed. And if I may also add, this is very particular for migrant domestic workers, because if they are going abroad and taking care of other family and also other children who also take care of their children while they are working abroad. Fourth, we need to recognize long-term care rights to integral to universal social protection and health care. This is particularly for older people or also with persons with disability who needs assistance in daily living, and also assistance in when you need more assistance at your house. So, and we should also encourage worker and community-led initiatives, including cooperatives, unions, local organizations, in building sustainable care system. One good example of this is what the program of home body care in Thailand, where older people receive long-term care in a relatively low cost. Then how can we do this? We should endorse universal social protection that provides basic income guarantees for all and healthcare at all stages of life. We should prioritize sustainable finance for the healthcare to ensure available, accessible, and affordable long-term care services, and ensure long-term care integrates contributions from social solidarity initiatives, community groups, and workers' organization. Then second to the last recommendation is we need to increase public investments to ensure especially accessible, adequate, affordable public health services to all people, especially mothers and newborns. We always hear from the government there's no money but we know that when we evaluate the budget, we have budgets for military, we have budgets for other services, and we should also have investment for healthcare because healthcare is a right. So how can we do this, or what are our specific demands? So we need to prioritize and invest and ensure that there is public healthcare infrastructure and facilities, not only again in the cities, but in rural and also in agricultural areas. Also, we need have a stronger commitment to free, available, quality healthcare services for all. This includes having as well like medical professionals that can also cater to different health needs of the population. We need to ensure that maternal health protections at the workplace, particularly high-risk sectors and informal employment, are also included, and to recognize the support for social solidarity economy entities, such as cooperatives, social enterprises, fair trade groups, self-help groups, and workers' organization. Lastly, we need to recognize the importance as well of having community solutions such as community-based kitchens, gardens, laundry stations, and early childcare centers to help many parents, especially women, in childcare. And we should involve men and boys in sharing childcare and household duties as well. Lastly, this is very important, especially now that we always know that social is always different from economic, but we know that there should be more integration, there should be more alignment about economic and socio-cultural goals. So our recommendation is for the ASEAN member states to align the ASEAN socio-cultural community and also the ASEAN economic community programs in building a robust care economy. This includes establishing a tripartite plus review mechanism to ensure economic integration supports care economy and social protection goals. I won't be stating all of these specifics, but one thing I would like to highlight is that at the regional level, we should enhance the voice and participations of workers' organizations, including both trade unions and also organizations representing workers in informal employment in the regional dialogue with ASEAN member states. And at the same time, there should be regular country-level reporting mechanisms around key identified areas in the care economy. So how can we move forward? So knowing that we have this regional statement, so what do we need to move forward after this webinar? So what we think we still continue need to do is to build awareness. This is to enhance both the public and also government understanding on the needs, issues, contributions of different workers on the care economy and also their rights, and in particular, maternity protection. Second, we need to enhance our partnership and our alliance. Particularly, there should be a stronger participation or partnership between trade unions and membership-based organization of informal workers to enhance worker class solidarity in the region, and also including civil society organizations working with the government. Third, we need to improve and enhance and strengthen our advocacy work, that we need to work closely with policymakers and other stakeholders, not only at the national level, but at the regional level as well, such as engaging with ASEAN Secretariat, ASEAN Senior Labor Officials Meeting, or SLOM, or engagement with SOMSWAD or senior officials on social welfare and development. And also very important, like Dr. Neat has mentioned, also the ASEAN Women Ministry. And lastly, we need to continue to learn and exchange lessons from different across the region, and also exchange good practices, maybe from one country to another, what your country is doing through public forums, field visits, and also through collective participatory research. So with this, I really hope that these recommendations will be put forward and we would continue to working together so that we can make inclusive care economy in ASEAN possible. So in behalf of all the organizations here, I would like to thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you, Aura. And some of you have is asking us for the PPT and also asking us for the statement. And then you can see that Toha has already put all the a link of the drive of everything, like the PPT and all the speakers PPT and also the statement in the chat box. And then you can go to there to find the folders, the link of the folder, and also in the folders, you can find everything, and including the statement. So very, very comprehensively that from Aura to, to highlight the important contents of the statement. And then hope that everybody can also have a good reading on it, and then to see how we can work together in the future. And after now that we've already finished our two panel sections and also our statements, and then come to now that we also come to last, and then we have our closing, and then we can have Supriti, Dr. Supriti Bisbaruha. I hope that I can rightly pronounce it. Sorry.
No problem.
So, Supriti have been working with us, and then for the maternity protections program, this campaign, since we have the research. So, and then she is the director of the Bisparua Consulting Limited. She has over 10 years of experience of research, consulting, and policies advocacies on gender and development issues. She is the author of the books Banking on Equality, Women, Work and Employment in the Banking Sector in India, published by Routledge in year 2015, and co-editing of the multi-country study published by the Zai Foundation Singapore year 2018 on the financial security of older women perspective from Southeast Asia. And she was the team leader of the action research on maternity protection for workers in the agri-food sector in Southeast Asia year 2024. Like as what I say that when we start the to be the working partner together. So Supriti, it's yours.
Thank you, Mabel.
Maybe before that, Supriti, I see some hand raising. Suntari,
Yeah, it's
you want to
me.
say something?
Sorry. I just would like to tell our people here that since the beginning that we said that this workshop is a part of ACSC APF, that it is the people platform for ASEAN region, and all of our discussion, including conclusion, will bring to the ACSC APF in person on 15 and 16 October, to integrate with the other workshop from other movement that will happen in Malaysia on 15 and 16 October. This is just a short news announcement.
So our workshop information, we go to that. Anyway. Okay, so Supriti,
Thank you, Suntari. And thank you, Mabel. Well, we've had a lot of very enriching discussion this morning, and I will try my very best to summarize and bring it all together in under 10 minutes. It's a tall order. But one thing that I think is very clear from the discussion, from the beginning, from the morning to the discussion by government to the panel discussion with the grassroots organizations, is that maternity protection and care are central for achieving the ASEAN community vision of a resilient, innovative, dynamic, and people-centered ASEAN by 2045. We started the morning with Ms. Koko Okada and with Tuha setting the scene by providing an insight into what is the policy landscape of maternity protection, as well as our aspirations on maternity protection and social protection in the region. The good news is that ASEAN nations have made significant achievements when it comes to maternity protection in the region. How much benefits and what type of benefits, of course, varies by countries. And then we have also had some very positive steps of recent with the Philippines and Vietnam expanding maternity protection. But, and there's always a but, isn't there? There's clearly still a lot of work to be done. We heard from Coco earlier this morning that there is a gap between the legal rights to maternity care and maternity benefits and the actual receipt of maternity benefits. That while 84% of countries provide legal rights for maternity leave in the Asia Pacific, only 40% of women receive maternity leave benefit. Now, one of the main reasons for this, the problem is that maternity benefits cover mostly women in the formal sector, and they exclude women in the informal sector. And that also includes, as Ara and several other participants said earlier, migrant workers. Now, I think in the ASEAN, somebody mentioned that there are an estimated 244 million people who are in informal employment. A large proportion of them are women, which means that millions of women in ASEAN are left without any form of maternity protection. And even when maternity protection benefits are available, as we heard this morning, it may not be for long enough. The duration may be too short, or the amount of benefits may not always be adequate. I think Coco mentioned they may not be enough to ensure that the mother and child stay healthy and out of poverty. We also heard that care doesn't end when a woman gives birth. There is a continuum of care from childbirth to old age. And as I will add here, with an aging population, care needs are only going to increase as we go further down in the next few decades. And who does this care work? Again, as you know, it's mainly women. I think Tu had given me this statistic a long time ago that in the Asia Pacific, women perform 4 times the amount of unpaid care work done by men, and often for no wages, or if they do get wages, for very little wages. So much of the care work in this region is done by women. It is unpaid, undervalued, and often excluded from official statistics. But imagine if women stopped doing this work. What would happen if there were no teachers in schools, no nurses in hospitals, no caregivers in the households? So clearly, care work is vital, and it's time we started to recognize it. And as several of the participants and as Aura mentioned in her joint statement, we call for this, that it's vital to set up a transformative care economy in Southeast Asia. Now, Aura put out the joint statement. It will be shared by Tuha. So I'm not going to repeat all the 6 recommendations. I'm just going to reiterate that what we want, what has been said today, is that social protection, which covers maternity protection, childcare, healthcare, and the entire lifespan of all stages of health, is not a privilege. It is actually a fundamental right, and that it should be universal and accessible and available to everyone. It should extend to all workers, whether they're workers in formal employment and migrant workers. And I think we can do this. Ara mentioned that we need to increase public investment, and we need to align the social and the economic goals within the ASEAN community. And as I'll repeat again, so Ara mentioned that it is possible to do this. It is possible to have a transformative care economy. But to do this, we need to prioritize and invest in care work. And earlier, Ms. Coco mentioned that the cost is actually not out of reach. The cost of universal maternity protection, for instance, is on average only 0.1% of GDP for 29 countries in the Asia Pacific. And ASEAN has committed to this. In 2021, for instance, ASEAN adopted the comprehensive framework, where it emphasized the need to reduce, recognize, redistribute, and represent care work. And we heard today from several representatives that there is a commitment and a willingness to change. We heard about Thailand, where the Social Security Board is working to expand social and maternity protection for informal workers through the Social Security scheme SSS 40. In Indonesia, Dr. Harniati mentioned how the government is improving social protection through the Indonesian National Action Plan on Human Rights and the Business and Human Rights. They've got PRISMA indicators, which cover issues such as breastfeeding and the provision of childcare facilities. We also commend Lao PDR, we heard from Dr. Nin, for not just championing the care economy, but also for turning it into a concrete commitment through their national plans and mainstreaming care into their women's development plans. She mentioned several strategies, and I just wanted to raise one because I feel that's very close to my heart, where she said the government is also strengthening gender disaggregated data and care-specific data. Now, that's really very crucial because we all know what doesn't get counted doesn't often count. So we need to start with data, and it's a really commendable move that we're starting. But Dr. Nin also mentioned that while there's several of achievements, we've had a roadmap towards ASEAN, and here's the but again, right? There's persistent implementation gaps. There's still a gap between progressive policies and what we want to see on the ground, what we want to see in terms of actual change on the ground. And I think Tuha in her presentation earlier said that Southeast Asia and South Asia actually have the lowest social protection coverage in the world. And we want to change that. So how do we do that? So we have seen that ASEAN has committed, and Dr. Nin mentioned that what we need to do is we need to have a whole of government and whole of society approach, and we need to accelerate these initiatives towards expanding social protection. As a region and as ASEAN governments as a whole, they need to look at the modalities of redesigning social protection systems, of expanding benefits, so looking into non-contributory systems. We need to strengthen regional protection, and we need to build social dialogue. Aura mentioned 4 aspects here. She said we need to build awareness, partnership, advocacy, and learning exchange. And this is really where also grassroots organizations like SPRI, CCFC, and HomeNet really come into the picture. We heard about what the advocacy efforts were, the consistent efforts that have led to some commendable changes, whether it's in HomeNet's expansion of maternity leave in Philippines, or CCF's health equity funds, or SPRI's help with poor families receiving social protection in Indonesia. Their work is crucial to keep the momentum and the pressure on governments to have change coming. What's notable is that these organizations didn't just focus on one strategy. What I saw was, I heard about, was multiple advocacy strategies. You had research and policy gap analysis, you had community forums, you had marches, you had citizen-led consultations, and even support for pilot programs. AROPS, as Tuha mentioned, and I think Dr. Nin talked about, the importance of information sharing and networking to build understanding between grassroots organizations, and the importance of documenting, recognizing, and replicating good practices so that these good practices by grassroots organizations can be set across, the region. And that's where I think we had the Tempo's efforts coming into the spotlight, where Dr. Wahyu mentioned that the media has a role to play in amplifying grassroots practices and upholding what he calls multi-stakeholder journalism, and doing campaigns that would strengthen the work towards social protection between joining the media and civil society organizations. The media also plays a really strong role in creating a strong digital strategy and social media campaigns, which would help to reach out to social media savvy younger audiences, which we also want to have in the campaigns going forward. So we're not saying that the path ahead will be easy. It won't be easy. There will be many challenges. That to start with, we've got a lot of changes. The world is changing. Dr. Ms. Okada mentioned this morning, Coco, that we also have to account for some mega trends like climate change. So when we're looking at social protection, we also need to make sure we incorporate climate change and the importance of climate change into these issues. There's also a variety of other challenges. But I do believe that listening to everyone this morning, we are united and we can make as I think you had called it, an ASEAN united under one vision, one identity, and one caring and sharing community. a future of ASEAN where life with dignity and ASEAN without inequality becomes a reality. To do this, we must all work together. And I'm going to conclude by borrowing from Dr. Nin this morning. If we want to go fast, we go alone. If we want to go far, we shall go together. And I look forward to universal social protection becoming a reality in this region. Thank you.
Thank you, Supriti. A very, very good and precise, summary, with a very rich content. And then it's really helps a lot for my job because I need to provide the reports of this webinar. And well, we have finished all the sections. Here I don't know, Toha, if you still have any things to announce or any contents that we have to go through. But before that, but let me also thanks all the speakers to provide your very valuable experience and your analysis and also the inputs of the whole campaign. And also all the interpreters have done a very good job for the last 3 hours, keep on doing the interpretations. And then, and Tanya, put up a lot of support for the technical support for the whole running of the webinar. So, Toha, do you have anything that we have to add on to, and also thank you for everybody's participations, of course. It's a very long section, 3 hours. Yeah, and Toha?
And also thanks Mabel for your very hard MC task. And also apologize because our workshop is late 27 less than 20 minutes or 22 minutes, sorry. So but anyway, it's a good one because it's also not easy, right? Not easy at all because we have too many the speaker. I saw in the chat box some comment also, still continue with some comment, especially one comment from Rosalinda on our joy statement. We think can improve it, and especially on the November, we hope that we can bring it to the ASEAN level and get more voice from South Asia, East Asia, and other parts of the Asia to improve that part, to make it as a joint statement at ASEAN level. Okay, and with this one, thank you all again, and see you in another time because our struggle for maternity protection and transformative care economy will take very long time. Thank you and bye-bye.
Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you.
I hope from the upland. Hello.
Oh yeah, we should thank the group from upland also, right?
We will of the open.
Yes, that's great. Yeah,
Thank
upland
you,
group.
Everyone. Have a good
Thank
day.
you. Bye-bye.
Terima
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye po.